Okay.
All right,
Alright.
here we go.
Hello. Yes.
Who remembers last time and can recap?
Okay, so we were on our way to the
Snakes.
I'm yeah. Yeah, we take some boats. We get jumped by snakes on the way there. We realize there are some big ass snakes. Not just big ass snakes, we have big ass snakes. Um we get some snake heads, Rosana gets some venom, that's kinda cool. We realize that animals aren't really showing up and we're like, huh? And it's like there's no animals, there's just snakes. Commune with nature sort of just shows like no extra planar influence, just some really lot of fucked up snakes. No like weird plant constructs. There's a lot of commune with natures. Okay, next page.
Next.
We're just like it's probably magic. There's that inconclusive. It's probably magic. The type of magic inconclusive. We don't know. Dummy thick and
Stop. Stop.
we
Do
no.
not stop. Please continue.
We get some shit. We see like this landmass and we're like, ooh, and there's a lot of stone streets and we see that archway of stones and we're just like, that's the place. And Kane's like, that's, and we see a lot of snakes. And they're like, yo, what up? And we go, yo, what up? And we do a lot of initiative with a lot of snakes and
AOE.
AOE. What spell was that? Not Guardian of Nature. Wrath of Nature
Wrath of Nature.
was the MVP. Alsana was the MVP, and we're like, aight. And then Alsana goes to the archway, and she's like, detect magic. And there's something in the dirt. And she can't really pinpoint that school of magic. It's kind of, and Kane's like, I'm gonna start digging. So he start digging, and we find like a wooden object. It's like tiny. It's less than a foot, sort of entire thing. It's solid wood, carved snake. It's not even a good carving. Like, who would put a perfectly good magic item snake? Never mind. Oh, John died.
John.
So we're like, yo, what the fuck? And Alsana's like, yo, identify? And it's intended to attract serpents and make them, which is sort of pissed off. It's a serpent magnet. Dude, what the fuck? And it's like activate and deactivate. You don't have to do shit. So we're like, deactivate, please, and thank you. And it doesn't really symbolize anything. And we're just like, it sort of symbolized like sort of a similar serpent city to the south. And we've heard of sort of that city to the south because it's where a certain motherfucker of ours we met before. Yeah. And so we're like, okay, we smell Shuli all over this bitch. We gotta go find them. And so we try and like get rid of as many snakes that are still pissed off at us, but most of them are like, I'ma slither away. So we try and do commune with nature again. So the masses are slowly clearing out, and we're culling the herd of masses that won't slide out. And we're like, cool, bye bye. And we plan out what we're gonna do in like the next month before the shrine because we know where it is, so we don't really need to search out a shrine anymore. Bip bam boom. So we figure out what we're gonna do for the month, but we're like, Shuli left more in the mid-afternoon. And like we sort of know maybe where he's going. They're going. Pronouns, they, them, boys. And let's change.
Honestly, at this point, Shuli might be flexible between they, them, and he, him, because my god, I've fluctuated both in writing and speaking for him.
Pronouns don't exist. Anarchy.
Go for him.
Pronouns don't exist. I'm the one saying that.
Ehem.
Devin, I'll punch you in the face.
Oh yes, the appropriate response to encouraging anarchy. Fight the other anarchists.
Yeah, that's what anarchy is, duh.
That's what purging is.
Cuthbert gets some venom to make more anti-venom, just in casesies. But then we're like, you know what? Let's go chase that snake. Snake man. Snake human. Them. Yeah. That's the entire recap. That's the entire recap.
I cannot explain how much fun it is to listen to I give an entire recap and be confused about every word they say.
Shut up! I know what I'm saying. I don't know what I wrote.
Oh, we lost John again. Wait until he gets back.
Yeah. Oh no, speak of the fucking devil.
You summoned him.
Good.
Yeah, I
Alright.
don't know what I write. Let's go, Jesus.
Let's do this. So, it was getting late. You guys had decided to stay the night in the
Yeah.
town of Moore before heading out on your pursuit so that you can go out well rested and ready for a new day.
Yes.
So, you guys can take your long rest. Nothing occurs in the night
This time.
this time. You wake up, and morning is for you to decide what to do with. Kane, you have borrowed a couple of boats again. You're gonna owe Tolok for this, but he did lend you his craft, and you still have the one on loan from Finley.
Alright, just in case we need to drag some behind us.
So, what do you want to do?
Well, I suppose I can start this day off properly. She would have this morning prepared, and then would like to use scrying.
All right, sounds good. Can you either give it a click or a copy paste for the relevant information?
Do I have it on here? I do not, but I will copy and paste.
Okay.
Scrying doesn't have that weird thing with bodies of water, right?
Not that I know of.
What's that?
Actually, there's a little table on this, so I'm just going to snip
Yeah, I
it and
might
throw
have
it in the
to-
chat.
I might have to look it up.
I got it,
Yep.
and I'll just in the Discord.
Because mostly what I'm after is that table, because that determines what I am rolling. Thank you. So, you also have you have the mirror of dark and light, used as the scrying focus, and it imposes a -2 penalty to the target's wisdom saving throw. Your DC is 18, yes?
Yep.
Alright, let's see. You've met the target, you do not know them well, so that's a 0 on the save modifier. You don't have a possession or garment or part of body. You don't really have a likeness or picture, you just know what they look like. So, wisdom saving throw, -2 for all of that. I'm going to say they don't have great chances. Basically, it's going to be a flat D20 roll. I'm just going to go ahead and 14. All right. So, you focus on the scrying spell. There is a shimmer of light across the surface of the silvery mirror. For just a moment, you see your own face reflected back at you, as mirrors do, and then that image ripples and fades. And on the surface of the mirror, you see, kind of punting their way through the swamp in a leisurely pace, bobbing their head about. Do you get sound? I believe you do.
I think so.
See and hear, yes.
Yeah, because
kind
you
of-
could you were able to hear Alaris's words and everything when you scried on him as well.
And you can kind of hear as they are bobbing their head, almost a whistling tune. Kind of aimless. Not quite the pursed lip whistle of a more standard humanoid, but something between the teeth.
Can she get a beat on the location?
Go ahead and roll a survival check while you're concentrating on the scrying spell, so no guidance.
Alright.
Is there any way for Kane to be looking into?
Oh, come on.
I believe scrying is only the person who's holding the item.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Alsana, it is nondescript swamp as far as you can tell. Just the same dripping, drooping trees, the same lily pads, the same buzz of insects all around, the cackle and squawk of birds. Little fish goes bloop in the water as Shuli pulls their barge along. They don't seem rushed or hurried. I'll say that you know well enough, you can tell by the position of shadows in the scry spell where the sun is. They are heading south.
Okay.
More southwest. There is a slight angle to it. But aside from that, you can't quite figure out exactly where they might be in the marsh.
Mm, okay.
If you watch for the full duration, their behavior doesn't really change.
Yep. Okay.
At the end of it, they might start to turn slightly more west. It's hard to track given the way they have to weave through the trees, but you start to notice a slight trend in that direction.
Okay. Alsana will relay that to Kane and ask if it's a standard path, possibly.
Can he think of what the even next vaguely reasonable stop would be to go south? There's not many towns around here, so.
Not particularly. You can go ahead and roll. Let's call it a survival check for you as well. No disadvantage, just a high DC.
Alsana guidance.
You can guidance him this time, yes. Oh god.
It's one of the few things I'm rather good at.
Ayo.
28! Oh my god.
I
Alright.
only have like 4 proficiencies, man.
It's wonderful. It's great. Oh my god.
He lives here. He got a
Natural
good idea.
19. Yep. You know that there is a point where there's slightly easier passage from the Moormarsh into Heartbreak River. And then down the banks of the river, there's a couple of very small towns and villages on the riverbanks before you get to the town of Shen, near the bottom of the map. I'll go ahead and pop you guys on there. There we go. Basically, if they're starting to head west, they might be somewhere in this vicinity, like the lower edge of the Moormarsh, heading towards the river.
Sorry, just waiting for my screen. Get the
Okay.
resolution.
Fair enough. Basically, you know about where they're probably heading. Yeah, somewhere in this general vicinity, starting to head west rather, would be heading that way. You know that from the description, Shuli is not going at a hurried pace, so if you guys do manage to push your boats, and they also have a larger, heavier, slower moving barge style of boat. The crafts that you have are generally faster and more maneuverable for the swamps. They're no speedboats. You're not going to win any races with a boat that's intended for such, but a race against a slow-moving trader barge, that you could have some confidence in. You know that even if you set out right now and pushed at maximum speed, you are not going to catch up with them before they hit the river. They've got like roughly like a day head start on you, and less if they rested, but you're probably going to catch up with them on the river itself, if anywhere.
Would it be faster to go down the river rather than try to go through the marsh, or does the lack of easy punting make that less reasonable?
The river, the current is a bit stronger here in this area. It starts to slow down a little bit further down.
Question.
Yes.
3 spells, Alsana would like to consider, to maybe help us along the way.
Okay, and locate.
First of all, control winds. Are they working on sails at all, or is it just purely
No. It's
Nope.
fun.
Yeah, there are no sails on these boats. Sails would not be quite as useful in a marsh.
All right.
Uh,
Second off, control water.
Yes, that's a lot more helpful.
yes.
I'm just curious about the particular phrasing of it.
Go ahead and give me the phrasing.
Um,
I'm gonna have to sit here and agonize, aren't I, as a DM?
yep.
All right, give it to me.
Faces plain text.
Oh boy. All right. So, what are we looking at in particular? What phrasing is weird?
It's you control any freestanding water inside a cube up to 100 feet on any side. One of the following effects. Repeat the same one or change it. Does that
Mhm.
mean that she can only affect like a 100-foot cube, like where they first start, and then she has to like keep recasting it every like 100 feet down the river?
Okay, let me. I'm gonna go ahead and 5e. I'm gonna see if I can like Google it a little bit. I think most people are gonna be asking about. Hmm. Freestanding water.
There's a lot of spell slots called up.
Whoosh. Just go whoosh.
Also, each creature in the area must make a dex save or 48 bludgeoning.
Water go whoosh.
That's only if you're not in a vehicle.
It can be like behind us, and then it would like carry us, and we would ride the wave.
Honestly, I am not quite sure.
Okay, then I'm gonna put forth my third option.
Everybody's asking about what counts as freestanding water because they want to wreck dams or whatever.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Third option, conjure elemental.
Okay.
I like that idea. I really like that idea.
Yeah, that one.
Are you gonna have the elemental just kind of push
That's
the
pretty
boats?
good idea.
Yes,
Yeah.
could I summon a water elemental to help us along and go quicker?
Probably. What is? Hold on. What is the speed of a water elemental? It's
I
fast in
wanna say
water.
it's 90 in water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good deal faster than you can punt a boat, even at any kind of double time.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, yeah.
So.
I was
yep.
never questioning that part.
A water elemental is size large. Yes.
I believe so.
All the elementals are, yeah.
All right. Technically, if you put the two boats like right next to each other, I'd say it could probably push along both of them at once.
Could lash them side by side, yeah.
Also, to be fair,
Yeah.
the elemental can grapple things, so I don't know if that means it could like carry things along.
I'm just kind of assuming that the elemental would be basically a swell of water beneath the boats and just back of them and just.
Okay, that'll work.
So yeah. How long does Conjure Elemental last? An hour?
1 hour, yes.
Oh hell! All right. 90 feet of movement per round. It might be slightly lower because it's technically pushing dead weight, but I'm not gonna like reduce it by half. For ease of calculation, let's call it a good 60 per movement. If it dashes, that's 120 per round. That's every 6. Oh dear, every 6 seconds. 10 of those in a minute. 60 of those in an hour.
Also, to be
7.
fair, it is immune to exhaustion, so it can just keep going.
Yeah, it's not going to be stopped. Hold on. I need to convert this.
Fast.
Yeah, fast.
You're the only person who knows how miles work, so.
Yep. Yeah, you could move at a good I'll round it up, a good 15 miles per hour.
Bad,
Pretty good.
actually.
13.63633.
And that's not. Is that counting the current?
But you'd be going faster than the current. The current is probably what rounded it up.
Okay, I was gonna say because the current would technically be additional because it would carry the water elemental too.
All right. Accounting for the slight weaving through the marsh and stuff, in 1 hour you can be just entering the Heartbreak River when the elemental fades.
Oh, I was planning to go just down the river and save having to navigate all that. Have a more clear boating area.
Okay. Yeah.
No sense navigating needlessly, basically.
You get to about the same point.
Okay. Oh, I just mean to play without any of the checks.
Okay. So then,
All right.
And we'll
1 hour you could be at the point where the Moormarsh meets the Heartbreak River.
Alsana
With
is
the-
sitting on the docks, like, are we ready to go?
and we'll finish up lashing the upper parts of the ribs of the boats together. Just like a thick rope. I just kind of looks up and says, "No one has a magical rope by any chance, do they?"
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll just have to make sure I keep an eye on it.
Don't worry. I'm sure our friend will help us along. Nice.
True, but I don't want them to help us too much and the boats get separated. But otherwise, it seems quite alright. Calder, I'm going to trust you with the harpoon still while I navigate.
Got it. So can we fight the water friend once it's all done, or will he disappear?
He returns to his home spot at the end of the duration.
Also, I'd rather keep going than have to fight. Especially if
very
we're on a
true.
boat fighting a water elemental.
That's very true. Just in case.
Be a good fight.
Would be.
Kane and Calder exchange glances just as you get to the end of the journey and both reach to club Alsana over the back of the head.
Mm,
Oh, that's true! Me and Calder are both really close to the level up.
It's the 130 experience.
Oh my god.
The only
Okay.
reason I'm asking
Okay. Ariel, is it possible
Mhm.
that I basically attempt to teach Calder how to navigate for this trip and trust her to navigate, and in exchange she gets experience?
I'm gonna say that you guys don't have to worry about the experience that much. So,
Okay.
not really. However, you could probably start to teach her, like, practical navigation tips just as a flavor thing.
I just really want to make sure she gets the experience
Sounds
before
good.
we go to the not temple.
Shrine.
You know,
Well,
Thank you.
isn't the shrine 1 plus a little, or is it just 1?
well, it's based off your level, so if you level up, you get more experience.
Mhm.
It's fine. It's fine. We have a month. We can kill something in the month.
Alsana can summon
Yeah.
much more later.
Ooh, that's true. Why have we not done combat
Um.
practice like that yet? Anyways,
Oh my god.
Okay.
So,
just RPG grind out a level.
so
Oh,
also, Alsana will take up some water from the from by the docks, mix it with her ash, and just draw a little, almost like a little transmutation circle kind of thing on the dock. And just put a hand down on it and pull up the water into a wiggly, maybe snake-like water form.
Mhm.
Does a water weird happen to go faster than a water elemental?
Don't think
I
so.
don't think so,
Also,
and
it's
also
smaller.
the spell, yeah, and the spell doesn't summon water weirds. Technically,
It
it's only-
does.
You can. It's an
Does
elemental of
it?
a lower CR.
Oh. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm pretty sure water weirds aren't up to another 60.
Yeah, your elemental is going to be much beefier and bigger and more suited to this task.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Shall we away?
I think we shall.
Yeah,
That's a very
so.
strange way to phrase it. Kane will just wave to
It's
everyone and says,
proper.
I'll be back at least by the end of the month.
see that you do, impertinent youth. From
Never mind,
Sylvia.
I take back what I said. I will do my best to avoid here for as long as possible.
You hear
Suppose so.
a you hear a call from Evie. I'll teach you how to cook my prawns. The ones that you like so much in the special sauce. If you want that.
I will have to make a great deal of measuring and weighing options in that case.
You can think about it on the way. Let's go. And all of a sudden, it points forward, and the boats go.
I imagine like both of the tips just like raise.
Kane, the swamp, the little bit that you do have to go through in order to hit the river.
How
just this
murky is
far,
that water?
You've never gone this fast in the swamp before.
Yeah.
And yeah, the water is pretty murky. It's kind of greenish brown, except where the sunlight kind of reflects off of it, making it sparkle slightly. A single little bit of beauty even in the marsh. But you fly around the trees, kind of tangling the prow of the boats in water weeds and lily pads.
Also, I'll make a small request for the elemental to slide those off.
He kind of does. Well, they kind of do. It kind of does. I'm honestly not sure about the elemental here.
Anarchy!
Anarchy.
Sorry,
the-
Ariel yelling anarchy is such a wonderful irony in my life.
I am so tired right now.
Anarchy,
I
it's fine.
just realized I forgot music. This calls for something.
Yep.
A little
Something
special.
clanny.
Yeah, no, it needs something more.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I don't think I have that. I'll put one of the dancing musics on. Nope.
Right back, by the way.
Where's the bouncy one? There it is. All right. You guys, after just a minute or so, clear the swamp, and you hit the river. The water elemental curves the boats hard to the left. You guys kind of have to hold on for dear life to avoid falling out. Go ahead and everybody give me a real quick, call it either strength or dexterity, to grab hold of something or to keep your place.
Check
I
or
can't
save.
swim.
Just a saving throw.
Fuck. +4 to
you-
that.
Yep, okay. That's good. Yep, +4 to everybody, so 13.
Sorry, do I need to make a check?
Yep.
Which one?
Saving throw, either strength or dexterity.
Oh.
You've got
Yeah.
+4 from Calda.
Yeah.
Kane, you are rock steady in this boat. Elaris, you there? John?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. It's a dex save.
Or strength, whichever. I suspect dex for you, right?
Dex save. Oh, fuck.
Touchy.
Alsana, you almost tip out of the boat. You just barely
I get
managed to hold on,
flung out of the boat.
mostly because Calda at that last moment suddenly reaches out and grabs like back of your robes and keeps you steady. Ilaris, however, as you make this sudden sharp turn, he just he flails for the side of the boat, misses, and just
There we go.
a couple of times across the water.
Circle back.
How many skips that good luck?
Stop. Please.
Can Kane, before they get too far, try to like extend the rod out to like it's got 50 feet reach if he needs to basically for him to hook onto.
It happens very, very quickly by the time
Go
you...
on, bonus action.
and this happened real fast.
Okay.
Basically, you might not have a turn before the elemental is onwards, and then a slightly more gentle curve around as Alsana exerts her will upon it. And it kind of slows and then comes to a stop right next to Ilaris. Ilaris, you feel the water, almost a solid presence, suddenly swell beneath you, scoop you up, and into the boat. The bottom of the boat is now extra soggy, a little bit sloshy, as Ilaris sits in a puddle, absolutely drenched.
Hey Oriel, this might be a bit late, but should I have rolled when I summoned the thing?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'll ignore anything that said you didn't summon it. But for funsies.
All right.
I did forget about that because you do it so little. D100.
8.
Oh. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Is it thick?
Should I have kept my mouth shut?
Maybe. On the other hand,
Is that like
Alsana,
wild magic? What just happened?
Calda, you're about to get a wish of yours. The one water elemental is under your control. Everybody go ahead and gather around. Go ahead and gather around the docks up here, okay? Because you guys
Sorry,
were
I'm
heading
sorry.
roughly north. Yep. Whenever you get up there, you guys were all lined up there.
Wait, why were we rolling at even 100?
I moved scared.
Planar summons get weird because of the
Oh.
year it is. There's
Okay.
stuff going on.
This is gonna be fun.
Do I have a water elemental sheet somewhere on here?
They're drag and drop.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I already have one. Did you guys fight a water elemental at any point? Yes, in Long Lake. There you are. I'm gonna go ahead and drag this down here. Let me go ahead and edit. As we
Assume we should roll
backtrack very
initiative.
slightly, as you guys have a little bit of a flashback. Devin, I'm going to go ahead and give you control over the sheet. You did summon one successfully. However, there is a weird surge and swell of the magic, something beyond the norm. And as one water elemental rises up under your control and command, I'll go ahead and put a little purple dot on it for you. A second one appears on the other side of the dock, and it is not bound by you.
I
So,
like to imagine Kane turns away after being offered how to make that fish, and he just turns around like, "Oh, motherfucker!"
exactly.
Can we kill that one?
As
yes.
it rears up, raising a hand to slam it down on you guys on the docks. Go ahead and roll initiative. Alsana,
Candace, think about fish.
for the spell, does your controlled water elemental have its own initiative?
It's in the chat.
I think it does. I
Roll
just want to make
initiative
sure.
for it. It obeys.
Go ahead and roll initiative for your little purple dotted one. You have control of the sheet. It is in the summons and pets and so on and so forth, the player character's top part. Ah! Interesting. Okay. Roll your own initiative. Elaris, I need initiative, please.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, give me a sec.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm looking for my icon on the board. God dang it.
Up left or top.
Yep, got it. Initiative. Dang it.
Alright, descending order. Alsana, you know immediately something went wrong. You know immediately that that is real bad. And you can act on the spot. What do you want to do?
I'm thinking more.
Oh, the spellcaster up first. Always terrible. The one
Yeah.
time you
Nope, that's
managed to roll
concentration.
was a good thing. Yeah.
Christ, I don't have fucking much. She's gonna disengage.
Alright. Yeah. Actually, this one, you would have been out of reach of it. This is the one that is not under your control. This is the one that is.
Okay.
So,
well,
you
she'll
are
back
not
up regardless.
Yep. You just still have your action that way.
One not under control. Frostbite.
Alright, Constitution save.
Garbage damage.
Yep, but it takes cold damage, partially freezes, and its speed is reduced by 20 feet until the end of its next turn.
Garbo damage.
Alright. Anything else?
she'll just yell out to everyone, don't use acid or non-magical physicals. Immune to exhaustion, grapple, paralyzed, petrified, poison, prone, restrained, and unconsciousness.
Wow.
Thumbs
Basically
up
just
from
beat it
Cole.
till it
All
dies.
that in 6 seconds?
Talking's free action.
Yeah, a lot of shit can happen in 6 seconds. Like another
Also,
elemental
honestly-
showing up.
Alphonse speaks very, very quickly.
Yes.
Talking is a free action. Okay.
What do you tell your elemental to do?
Restrains, then back the other one.
You know that it can't be restrained.
Phrasing, not actually restrain.
Okay, okay.
with it.
So, basically, what are you doing for an action?
Attack the other one, 2 slam attacks.
Alright, go ahead and move it up. It can kind of go underneath the dock. The first one hits. The second does not. However, that is 15 non-magical, unfortunately. Bludgeoning damage, round up for you guys' sake, so that's -8. Alright, your water elemental reels back, and a shape almost like a fist swings out and slaps across the surface of the other water elemental. The second attack winds up and follows, but almost doesn't seem to make a surface-on-surface contact, but sort of through the other one without effect. It is that elemental's turn. It is in a somewhat target-rich environment, but right now it's gonna go ahead and it kind of slithers between the docks and the house into the space between. And it's gonna go ahead and take 2 attacks. One on the other elemental, which is gonna be a 15 that hits. Go ahead and take that as half damage, round down, so make it 6 bludgeoning damage, please, Alsana. If you want to just use the little green circle on your elemental.
Sure, let me check its max.
Yep.
114.
The other 2, well, it's got 1 more attack, and it's going to choose between 2 targets. 1 Calda, 2 Kane. Kane, this is against you. 25 to hit. 18
You definitely can
bludgeoning.
at me. Alright. But 'tis half to 9.
Okay, good. That is that one's turn, as it kind of hovers menacingly, rising out from the surface of the swamp. Elaris.
Alright, he's going to sort of pivot around Alsana, and he's going to take a beat at the angry one that is attacking his friends. Perfect. And he's going to do 1 heavy crossbow regular, 1 heavy crossbow sharpshooter, since he feels like he could probably hit this thing.
Go ahead.
Bang.
That definitely hits. 15 piercing magical plus. Yeah, they both hit.
I am
Dang.
going to
Oh
Eldritch
my God.
Smite one of those.
Oh god, okay. Go for it.
The sharpshooter one.
How the-
4, 5.
What did I do that gave you 23?
Give him a
Sharpshooter.
+3 weapon.
Sharpshooter.
Oh right, it's
Give me a
sharpshooter.
+3
Dear
weapon.
God.
Sharpshooter
Yeah.
to a +3 weapon. Thanks.
+2.
Yeah, +2, yeah.
Oh, John, that's actually that number
yeah.
to hit is actually lower than it should be if your deck's not your charisma on it.
Oh shit. You're right.
Oh, your sharpshooter. My god.
Oh dear god. Yeah.
And
Just roll your-
same thing to your
roll your
damage. You should have higher damage too.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I
I'll add
think
2 to that. Dear god.
Yeah. Yeah. 5d8.
Goddamn.
With a level 5 spell, since I am
Okay.
casting at level 5 now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Roll it.
So 20 plus 30 plus 29, 79.
79 damage. Yeah.
As dear god, Elaris, you don't have a heavy crossbow, you've got a hand cannon at this point. As
Let's do
Elaris
this.
lines it up, and 2 crossbow bolts shoot out, and they almost seem to explode in this thing on the inside. They just tear holes straight through it. It reels and looks diminished. But then it rises back up again, right over Kane.
Kane, cover!
So,
Kane just flexes with a smile and says, "Alright," flicks out the flame tongue greatsword.
okay.
Let's go.
On a water. Okay.
Yes, because even if it's completely
Kane is
immune,
not-
it's the same amount of damage as battle axe.
Fair enough. It's like Kane is not very smart.
Fire
Oh,
hits normal.
Yeah, fire
Yep.
Oh, it
hits
doesn't
normal.
hurt.
It
Fire
does
hits
hit.
normal.
It does hit normal. Yes. Hit, miss.
Damn.
Hit miss.
The nat ones. All right. So that is 12 plus 7, 19. 11 plus 3. How do you want to do this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna steam this thing.
All right.
Like a goddamn vegetable.
Okay. You just carve through it once, then twice with the flame tongue greatsword, and it just erupts into clouds of steam.
He's going to allow Calda one hit so she can make sure she gets her experience.
Calda, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay.
You missed.
Definitely a hit.
Devin,
It would be funny.
I have 2 attacks.
You missed. Yep, good one. All right, Calda, right as Kane slices through and it starts to shudder and fall apart, it starts to lunge forward towards the two of you, seeming to wish to overwhelm you with one last attack. You wind up with your own great sword and just shook, boom, and the thunder blows the steam and mist apart. As the rogue elemental from Alsana's slightly runaway spell disappears. So,
Odin goes, I'm gonna assume that wasn't intentional.
Yeah. That wasn't yours,
No,
right?
it was not.
This one's cool though, right?
Yes, she's fine.
This one's- Okay.
And
Well,
she kind of like
well.
walks over and kind of like pats the water and is like, "Thank you for your help, dear."
Smack, smack.
Yeah. Smack, smack, smack.
there's this weird little boom boom sound, but no other response.
Didn't mean to bring that one along with you. And she looks back through. The plains are weird this time of year. Makes pulling things from other ones a bit more difficult. It's the same reason so many portals are being an issue recently.
Well, at least we can deal with this one. It wasn't horrible. Didn't do anything destroying thing. We could deal with it.
That's
Oh, good.
and you look more lively, Calda.
I do. Oh, 130 XP. Fuck.
Oh my god. So, with that, you end the flashback to events that took place before you headed out, as Alara sits dripping in the bottom of a boat, probably unhappy because you fought a water elemental before heading out and didn't get a drop on you.
For the record, the elemental gets 1,800, so even divided by 4, I think you're good.
Oh, you're beautiful.
I was waiting for you to get like 125 somehow.
I
Yeah.
For
Because if it was like a 500 experience thing, that's what you get.
I think Ty would actually go find Ariel in real life and shake her down for the.
I'm not that bad.
No, Ty would find me and film punching me in the face for 5 experience.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah.
I am that bad.
Anyways, we continue down the river.
Yes.
Party boober.
on your water elemental powered, basically speedboats. It does still take an hour, overall, the full extent of the spell, but you don't really have to do much other than sit back, watch the scenery go by. Occasionally, Alsana will give further direction to the elemental. But it is a clear way.
Does everyone else get
You-
a short rest along the way, maybe?
Mm,
We got one before.
yeah, I'll allow it.
Short rest. Yeah. Cool. Perfect.
Take that smite back of ours.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll
Daryl.
1 hit dice.
I'll
You
max that for you.
guys
You
guys-
don't even need to.
speed
Don't.
by a few other boats, mostly barges, some that operate by sail, some that operate by oar. quite a few that actually run along the bank of the river, pulled by teams of draft animals that walk along a track on the bank. You guys have pretty good perception, at least most of you. You probably catch a few gobsmacked faces as you just
Alsana gives a
Two
wave to
marsh
some of them.
boats. Two marsh
Marsh-
boats lashed together side by side, just flying down the river at unheard of speeds.
I like to imagine Kane is sitting sideways, head propped up on one arm, sipping out of a marsh mango with a straw.
Oh, the mental image yet. Kane, this is probably the most relaxing boat ride you've ever been on. Mostly because you
Doesn't-
don't have to do any of the punting or the rowing.
And he'll have to find his way back after.
Mhm.
Normally, if he floats, he has to look for a way out of it.
What was it?
I was saying, usually Kane, if he just floats out into the water, has to find his way back after.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yep. Oh, regardless. At the end of the hour, Alsana, you feel the spell starting to peter out. You've been kind of losing, not your grip on it, that is sure and strong as ever, but the power behind it. You can feel it coming to an end.
She'll kind of bring the water elemental up. And just like, alright, I think you've done enough for now. Great work. You can head back.
And as the elemental kind of sinks into the water and you feel the magic disperse as it returns to its plane, you sort of drift forward, carried on a combination of the current and your own momentum left over from the elemental. And just ahead of you, you see a broad, flat merchant's barge being pulled out of the marsh and onto the river current by a lanky, slender figure
Oh,
in simple garb.
huh, it seems we've made it here quicker than expected. I'm sure he'll be surprised. Hey, fuck.
Just,
Anarchy.
I'm gonna get him to slow down, and he kind of yells out, like, "Hey there!" The equivalent of, like, pull over!
There's a little look around, like, oh, am I being spoken to? In
Jane
body
waves.
language. And Shuli locks eyes with you, looks surprised,
Big
and
smile on his face.
kind of gives you a wave of acknowledgement, turns and kind of starts pulling the barge towards a spot on the riverbank where it looks like they might be able to ground it just enough to keep it in place.
Kane's gonna
As
take
you
the
approach,
technical version.
as you
Just
approach,
look
you
over.
see them dropping a small weighted anchor over one side, just to keep the barge from floating too much along the current. And they turn, and they wait for you to approach.
so, what's the plan?
Basically say, I'll make sure I stay on the boat, you guys can do the talking, but at least what I'll do is I'll make sure my rod here is sitting in a place that both makes it more difficult for them to move and keeps me steady.
Alright.
So I'll
There we
trust
go.
you to
Could I
have a
grab that?
friendly
Can I grab that?
conversation at the start.
Can I grab that thing out of the bag real quick? Just see what happens if I
Yeah.
pull it out of nowhere in his expression.
The totem?
Yes.
Let's wait till we're close enough to chase after. If he starts to run.
I'm going
We're
to
going for,
keep
like-
it concealed.
Keep it in the ropes. And then we take it out, and he goes, and they go, "Whoa, where'd you get that?" See if they recognize it. Osana's good at the insight, and then should I shake him down a little bit? Should we do a little bit of
I
good
would,
cop,
I
bad cop?
I would ask that you and Alaris perhaps, convincing him to be forward and honest.
I'll try to get them to be forward and honest. If they're not, I can intimidate them to be a bit more forward or a bit more honest. But I need you to sort of do that sort of, are they lying shtick? Because all I can do is be mean sometimes. You're better at telling whether or not they're actually being genuine.
Let's go find out.
Kane will pull pull up like basically slightly in front so the current doesn't take them down.
All right. You kind of get the boats into a position where they're not going to drift away mid-conversation or carry you too far for words to be useful. Get yourself stuck and settled in place. And you hear Shuli say, "There wasn't a problem with the potions, was there?"
Shakes her head. No, dear.
Just a few questions, if we could, please.
Ah, of course. What questions have you?
Just wondering about your own wares, because they seem very interesting. Do you keep them all on the barge with you?
Well, yes. This is my storefront.
But any, like, that you've seen that you sort of deemed you're just like, I don't want this anymore, what do you do with them? You just throw them out or give them away?
That would be a waste.
Also,
There's
against herself
always-
as they were coming up.
There is always someone who would be interested in a thing, or so I believe.
Well, those potions you had was pretty cool. Any other things you found that were really powerful that you may have traded off? May have found other uses for yourself?
I trade all things that pass through my hands, unless they are necessities for myself.
How about recent ones over by more?
Yeah, with further south origins, more not in the area.
From Shen or Behara?
Alsana will quickly lean over to Lara. She's like, "Why don't you go for a walk around behind him?"
Sure. Okay.
Maybe
you'll
a
go
little,
Say you're going to take a leak or something.
Yeah, I'll take a leak.
maybe a little more southern than that, dear.
From... Oh, gives you a kind of a keen look. Are you asking of Laris?
I may be. Anywheres from there, or do you stick to this area?
I have occasionally crossed the border, but I do not make a great habit of it.
Wouldn't happen to know anyone on this side who's crossed the border, have you?
Anyone who's got some really cool stuff you may have found and went,
Oh,
that could be good.
plenty. Trade exists. I just am not keen on the tariffs. So I'd rather stick to one side than the other and not move goods across unless something is in high enough demand to be worth it.
What about people coming over across the border? Ones who might, originally from there, but, more in this area now.
There are many. You go to Shen, you'll see a thriving and very mixed population. Is there a reason for all of this?
You said when you were on your way here you didn't really run into any snakes, right?
Not particularly, at least not beyond the norm.
Cole's gonna like glance over to Alsana, who's I hope is holding the thingy.
Yeah,
Like,
she
as
has it. She has it on her.
Okay.
We find that as an oddity, given well, we went and did some looking and digging around.
Some researching, if you would.
The shrine south of Moor you might be familiar with.
Shrine. No,
Insight.
I'm not.
Does Kane know a different name for it?
Go ahead and roll the insight. Among the town of Moor, it's more commonly known as just the Stones.
Yeah, I was going to say the Stones. They call it the Shrines up north.
Ah, yes, I've heard mention of it, but I've never looked.
All right, insight that.
Go ahead and insight.
Where is my
Yeah,
guidance?
you've got a guidance that you were spending.
I thought I typed one earlier, but no. 21.
Okay. All right. He seems genuinely confused about this line of questioning, and didn't seem to betray any interest in the shrine or the stones. Call them what you will.
Man, no, I was going into Osana. Just maybe we can show them. Maybe they sold it to someone, and we can probably find the buyer there.
Alright, then, I guess we're wondering about something you might have sold to a buyer previously. One who might have had their interests there, and she will
I've
produce
sold many
these.
things.
She will produce the totem and really be looking at them.
All right. And this is the item in question. Go ahead and roll your insight. You didn't have time to cast guidance on this one, so
16.
16. Not really reading anything off of them.
This would be the one, yes.
May I? Holds out one hand.
Yeah, she hands it out. A nasty piece of work it is.
They take it and they kind of give it a look over both sides. It's similar to pieces of art from Laris. Has some of the style, but not very good craftsmanship. Honestly, if I ever had this in my wares, I do not remember. It may not have left much of an impression if so. I do sell a great many things and trade a great many more.
Well, you
But
wouldn't have sold to a particular person of interest, would you? I myself
Kind
gave
of-
a look into it.
Kind of taps it with their finger a few times. Person of interest. It depends on your definition of interest. Merchants, the wealthiest, think that they themselves very interesting, for example.
Question. Alsana, like, checked the dirt that was dug up around the area beforehand, right?
I
She didn't-
believe that you tried.
Yeah, she didn't get, like, an exact beat on of it, but it was still not unrecent, right?
I don't think we could have figured it out.
You weren't able to figure it out.
Okay.
You rolled very low for that one.
I remember at least said, like, it wasn't, like, more than a year or something.
Oh, yeah. There was no obvious, like, overgrowth or anything. It was still something that had been done
Within the season?
probably.
It was my survival check, so
It wasn't tamped down, it wasn't overgrown, it hadn't gone to a purely natural state.
We're looking for someone who might have had it in the, let's say, last season.
someone with an interest in Laris, if you can remember any, who would be more interested with your southern wares if you ever brought them up.
Well, there are those who live in Shen again. There is a mix of cultures there, and therefore possibly interest, though once more I must say that as far as workmanship goes, this is unattractive.
It should be. It's magical. It attracts serpents and nothing but serpents.
Then somebody made it not as a celebration of the culture or a decorative piece or anything of the like, but for utilitarian purpose. And only that, I would guess.
And from
Anyone
all-
you know-
all- oh, good.
Anyone you know you may have sold something to that's more the magic-y type, something with the same power that you may see in some of us?
And they just shake their head, and it's kind of this swaying shake back and forth rather than the quick back and forth of that most humanoids do. And they say, no. Closest my wares get to magic typically are the potions, and those uncommon. Again, unless it was something that I did not realize was magical, but then I would not know.
And with all this, there's Nothing even on the back of your mind? No buyers or sellers that might have asked for a bit more secrecy?
No, I have never seen this before.
Okay, one last insight.
Go for it.
Yeah, Cald's gonna go with that one too. That one seems
Mhm.
a little sketchy.
Go for it.
I can't get better than Alsana, but damn, I'm gonna try.
Yeah, Calda, hard to read. Alsana, it rings true. So this drew the serpents to the stones and to more.
Seems as such.
They had
Hmm.
basically covered them when we got there.
Well, I am sorry then that I cannot help. I like that little town. Perhaps, if you cannot find where it came from, the way forward might be to ask yourself, this was handmade with purpose and placed, presumably also with purpose, unless it was simply lost. If so, ask yourself, why might someone want to cover the stones or more with serpents? Perhaps that will lead you to something. Or
Holding
perhaps
something
I
back
am
on us, are
mistaken.
you?
No. He hands the snake statuette back.
No suspicions yourself?
None. Again, it looks like pieces from Laris, but poorly made. It would not be one made by a true artisan.
One last insight.
Go for it. Kinda hard to read again. But they hand you the symbol. And give you a nod. I wish you luck in your search.
Thank you.
I will keep my own eyes open. Should I find anything? Should I leave word at more?
If you would be so kind as to. Perhaps with, Kane, what was the name of that one you gave your spear?
Look,
Ah, I know Tolok. Very well. I cannot guarantee speed. You may find your answers long before I return up this river.
whatever you can do.
I appreciate the assistance. Thank you.
Do not be too hasty in thanking me. I am not a broker of information. But I have eyes and ears and contacts among merchants. That is the most that I could possibly offer.
Just nods. Well, we fully intend to track down whoever would do something like that.
Hmm. Well, the best to you. Now, I should be on my way.
Should we?
Safe currents.
Sales.
And Shuli kind of pushes off, raises their anchor, and moves the barge slowly along the bank of the river again.
Kin will pull up the boat next to everyone again.
Here goes that lead.
Sighs and just Alsana. I have a sneaking suspicious, and I want your thoughts on it.
She looks.
Know if those who stand on the other side, this conflict we're preparing for, are either able to travel, communicate over to the side.
As far as I know, they shouldn't be able to. Unless they were to get some sort of halfway liaison on another plane. That access doesn't come freely. Mind you, the group of interest that holds our visages might have that resource, but this is...
I have two suspicions. One is easier to check than the other. Both are a bit of a long shot.
Say them. They may be all we have.
One is some kind of hag or magical force from the Howling Plains. They're the only person at the ground here who would have that type of magic and have any reason to hate a holy site like that.
If there was one that wasn't within a radius around the area, I was checking.
Unfortunately, that one's not the long shot. There is a chance there's someone in the Broken Hills who wants to get back at me and decided to go through the Moormarsh, but I really doubt this is something they would do, but
You say it like there's someone in particular.
like I said, I doubt it's anything. Well, we're not too far from the Broken Hills. As far as I can tell, we're not in a rush to do anything today, right? We don't have a lead.
What could you have done that they wanted to get back at you or the entire Moormarsh?
Again, I really doubt it, but I do have a family there. One that I left in disgrace and broke the honor and challenge of. It's stupid to think they'd do something like this. They're orcs. It's not what they do, but
It's a
I
big
can't think of
attack.
anything else.
It's a big attack for something you may have done, but
It wasn't that. I mean, from the possible exertion of whoever did, there's relatively low effort. Simply head to the area with a item explained or bought or created by someone with magical know-how. Dig a hole and bury it there and leave it to fester.
True, but Alsana, I know you're quite knowledgeable now that you've met orcs at least. Do you really think it's their type of thing to, out of revenge for an insult years past, magically curse holy site vaguely adjacent as the person who dishonored them, rather than confront them directly?
She
Not
tilts her head.
there's-
You brought it up.
I know, I'm
I
just...
simply mean to say that it's not a idea of one of those orcs going and learning the magic themselves. If one was...
I'm looking for you to contradict me here.
since we're on the way anyway, should we check Shen, see if there are any magical people there who could have done this? At least they could have been brought the item and go, hey, I want this to be snake related. They could have just done the enchanting, or someone just could have made it. Because no one from Moore seems to have any leads on it, as much as we know, and a long shot.
Time to check, I think.
We have the
Okay,
days.
One side, Shen's on the other. Pretty sure that orc tribe travels a bit, so
Were there any magic-y folk in there, or were they all more physical?
Real?
Mm, pretty
I imagine
much.
there's at least one magician, right? Not
There might be one or two, but pretty much physical, and also they really didn't have anything to do with a snaky aesthetic.
yeah. Also, I apologize for walking into somewhere you do not have ready, but I'll just be like, or maybe that. I don't know. There was some kind of charlatan who convinced them that this is the way to get their honor back. I couldn't even imagine why they would do it the way they did, but
Be a
We're
long
here.
shot.
most of the way down the river. It's going to be miserable to punt back up.
We could do the
Very
trees
likely
thing.
just trip.
Couldn't we do the trees thing, Sana?
I could do the
Bring
trees
those back.
thing, or I could bring another elemental, but only one of those.
Should we check out what we can with Broken Hills and Shen? Take a night's rest in Shen and then come back? I want to bring the boats back, so I'd prefer to use the river.
Maybe our best bet.
Personally, I would like to maybe head to Threshold and ask about this. Because if the
Sense.
line of thinking you brought up of the other side,
No way of contacting them from a distance.
say that again,
Do you have no magic that can contact them from a distance?
it would take time. I'd have to prepare the magic in the morning, and at that point, I'd just walk there myself through a tree.
Yeah, makes sense. Honestly, if you want to do that, I can punt back up the river without too much issue. Too much time, but again, rush.
What about the other two?
I'll head to Threshold with you if it isn't much of an issue. It's rubbing me the wrong way, and I want to find out firsthand.
Polaris?
Sure.
Alright.
Also, I can ask you a favor while we pass by the Broken Hills.
She glances.
Could you and Alaris hop up on the broom and see if you see the tribes? I doubt we're gonna be able to see over the first set of hills from the boat.
Oh, are we not leaving right now?
Again, I was assuming we'd at least get to Shen first.
I can bring us to Threshold right now.
Yeah, the Broken Hills from where you are is minimum 11 miles just to the edge. Even up on the broom, you're not going to see very far into it, and you would not see much, if any, detail.
So I was thinking her and Alaris both from like right here.
That's a 10-mile fly downriver. That would take.
Yeah, sorry, I was assuming Kane would be down the boat while that
Mm,
on the boat while that happens, going downwards to Shen.
still would take time if you wanted to do it, but
But Kane will just say, yeah, if you want to guys go, then I'll head back to the marsh, swap out this boat for a solo craft.
If you can, maybe check out the shrine every few days, see if someone is staking it out. Checking if something's still there, at least from afar.
I'm sure I can set up some kind of small hunting trap for anything having traveled over that spot and done more than just walk past on scaly feet.
Yeah, people nearby are gonna notice that the snakes are lessening, so whoever placed it there, if they're still in the area, they'll probably notice too.
Alright. Well, worst case scenario, we meet back in Marsh in 2 weeks. It's
Indeed.
gonna take me time to look through the hills.
Here, hold on. Alsana digs out half of the message stone and flips it to Kane.
You? Is this the raid?
Shakes her head. You should get a magical message through it from us.
How often?
Once a day. You can send one, we can send one.
One each or one singular?
One each.
Well,
Out of character, they're sending stones.
I've never used one.
Alright.
I don't know if there's one charge each or one charge between the two.
I'm just doing one charge each to make it simple. So you can contact those two and they can respond, and they can contact you and you can respond, but only that set of things once per day.
Yep. Okay. I guess Ken will nod and just be like, I want to say I appreciate you guys doing this much work to help me figure out what's going on at home.
It's rubbing the wrong way. Why someone, like, no offense, the population's so small. Why would someone just decide to start putting snakes somewhere?
I'm.
I imagine it has more to do with the shrine than anything else.
Yeah, but
Also,
isn't Threshold the only one who knows where the shrine is? Maybe they're-
Theoretically, but this was the one that was known before we even headed out.
Yeah, exactly. They're
a number of shrines are somewhat public places.
And
Might not be
have,
considered what we consider them as, but they could still be considered,
important.
yes.
powerful.
Though again, if anyone did know what they were in our context, it would be the other side.
Also, frankly, we have yet to go to any shrine that doesn't have its own issues. This started. And I find it hard to believe this isn't some kind of systematic, if not by magical rules, then by personal ones.
They are wellsprings and drawers of magic. That is true. The more random
And
ones.
not one of them is positive magic. We've got a corrupted unicorn. We had all this shit that went on. Now we went further east. The Green River was relatively simple, at least. We had one in a vale where dragons are known to roam. We had one deep in a forest with its own difficulties and hidden by moonlight. Actually, that was one in Green River. And protected by beasts. We go to the
Magic-
Howling Plains, and it's deep within a wellspring of undead. And to the Moor Marsh, which has been left alone the entire time I've been there, has a population of less than a couple hundred, suddenly has some kind of vaguely terroristic attack on it. I find it hard to believe this is a coincidence.
The magics of the world are not friendly to men.
Yeah, but
Oh, I
this
know.
one was planted.
This is the one that is sparking interest. This isn't. It has intention behind it.
Could have been summoned or blight or ancient. This was put somewhere by someone either knowing or unknowingly malicious.
So does it strike you as odd that the one on the Sorenwood and the two that we knew about that we went to both had what seems to be a corruption, natural magic in some way? The unicorn, the twisted beings beneath the cavern that was unveiled briefly, and the snakes.
Again, they're wellsprings of magic.
We can try and find out even at Threshold if that thing was enchanted by someone or just randomly popped up to attract snakes for some reason, which I don't even know how the hells that would happen.
If you mean to imply intention among further ones, it's an oddity that others don't have it. The one in the green water was simply a single spot. The one in the dragon spine is a dangerous place, but only because it's been abandoned for a while and forgotten.
Oh yeah, that's why I mentioned the three that I did. They seem to be the most unnatural.
I think you're focusing on correlation too much. If there was malicious intent behind all of them, then I'd question why the other ones we've gone to that haven't had it didn't.
Well, the thing is also, Alaris, how long was that blight in the Sorenwood?
As long as I can remember. Would he actually remember?
Not quite. Yeah, you would remember. Let me
Yeah.
go ahead and bring up my timeline and calendar because it was
Yeah.
3 or
very
4 years?
specific.
3
Longer, I
years?
believe. Hold on one
Yeah,
second.
longer than that.
I'm going to my lifetime events. The blights in Soren Wood started showing up in 989, so 10 years.
10 years ago.
Well, it's not
Golthius
like
tree needed time to grow.
there's been.
Yeah, it was a slow escalation, and the date is really inexact. They could have been there a bit longer than, the first sighting. They could have been there, maybe the first sighting, wasn't the first.
Yeah, like Kane. When did these snakes start? Maybe like in the last few months.
I think so.
Either someone's playing a long game to fuck with these places, or they're not connected at all and they're all separate incidents, which is also very concerning. But they're fonts of magic. Magic has attracted them. I see why.
And the
Maybe
magic
just-
of the world are not friendly to humanoids. They hold no allegiance to be.
Exactly. So I don't think this is just one thing continually fucking with us. It's multiple.
It is the turn
This-
of the millennium. It is shaky bonds between the planes. A rift of the Shadowfell opened up in Sorin and dropped a seed of a Golthius tree. It grew over 10 years. If the other side was planning that, then we are not giving them enough credit.
And they're much more prepared than we are, and that terrifies me more. But
But we're not going to do any good searching for boogeymen where just simple magical radiation is enough to explain it in some of them, not even all of them.
this just feels intentional for no reason.
This one here in particular is the outlier.
It's even more unsettling then.
We have to check it out at Threshold, see if they can tell us any more than what we already know.
They would want to know about a conceded effort against a shrine.
Maybe if you have time, head by Tanaker, see if anything might be there. It's the closest major city. Other than maybe Bahara, that's downriver. Maybe there's something there.
We'd just be throwing dots at a board at that point.
Or isn't that what we're doing already?
We had
Thresh-
leads, we had suspicions. Threshold might give us more.
Keep me updated then.
We will.
Kane will start punting north to return one of the crafts.
Asana will go find a big tree.
All right. Kane, are you returning with both boats?
Yeah, he's gonna go
Just making
put both back. I think like a swift one to go down.
Okay. Asana, yeah, you could probably find a tree big enough on one of the banks. It's not a heavily forested area, but trees exist. Who is going with Alsana? Calda?
Yep.
Is Alaris going with you guys or with Kane?
Depends. Does Kane need the backup?
Not
where's
particularly.
Where's Kane headed again?
Marsh back down to the Broken Hills and then to Shen.
And things heading to, and Alsana's heading to Threshold.
I've called it, yes.
I'll go with Alsana and. Sorry, Kane.
Okay.
What?
So you're going with Alsana and Calda to Threshold. Kane is going alone up the Heartbreak River.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean that also gives me recourse to visit the family again as well.
Oh, also, if you can figure out any way to get my boat back down here, I would appreciate that.
If we pick it up by Utar, then we'll see.
Yeah.
If Alaris heads up to Walton, then I suppose you could pick it up, right?
Yeah, probably.
Of course.
Alright, everyone in the tree, and she just like drags a finger down and kinda like
Everyone into the tree.
All right. You rush through and emerge on the island of Threshold. Moormarsh, the area there, was slightly overcast. Threshold, bright sunlight. The Moormarsh was more of a sticky kind of hot as well, the sort that envelops you in the air. Threshold, also hot, but clearer. You feel like you can breathe
oh, a nice
without
breeze.
inhaling water. It is still the height of summer, early storm swell. There's a little bit of dampness in the air, but after Moormarsh, it's downright refreshing.
Tolerable.
Asana will just in her hand make a weather report.
Also, now that you're in Threshold, you've only just realized how pervasive the whine of insects had been. You'd kind of tuned it out. Now it's like deafeningly silent. Technically, you're getting weather for Threshold, not Moormarsh, so 1 second while we have the dice decide. Because you're in a new region, the weather's going to be slightly different. So, find this thing. You know what? Just for this, Devin, go ahead and roll me 3d20.
6, 14, 1.
Okay. There actually is a light breeze at the moment, and yeah, you call up the orb, and it's a little sun above your hand, almost radiating that heat, or at least a pale echo of it. So you're looking at another probably hot, sunny day tomorrow. No clouds, no precipitation.
She'll close it in her hand, little sparks come out the side. Alright. Shall we go find the short lore master?
Just Claddy.
Yeah, I guess so.
You head in, and having visited a few times, Alsana, you're starting to pick up on a few familiar faces,
Yep.
people that you've seen here before. They're
says
picking
hi
up
here
on
and there.
you. A few of them, someone asks you, so is it Claddy, or are you looking for, as I forget my own
Tokeny.
NPC's name.
Tokeny?
Thank you.
Uh,
I was stuck on Lunette
Yep.
for some reason. Very different.
Silver
very
hair,
different.
silver hair.
Yeah,
That's
they're
all
both
it
silver.
is.
Sometimes like that, it'd be, man.
Yep.
Also, I'm looking. It's like, Claddy's the priority, but if you happen to know where Tokeny is as well, I wouldn't say no.
I can send her your way. Claddy should be in the green room. Here, I'll show you, and you are shown to a room. You've probably been there before, where it's almost a meditation chamber with a small fountain in the corner, just
Yes, that one.
trickling water, and plants lining the walls.
Yep, that's the one that she had the talk with Tokeny with, right?
I believe so.
And she'll also go, you don't have to send for Tokeny, just do you happen to know where she would be hanging out in the next hour?
I believe that she is up with the various birds kept for messages.
Oh, alright. Yeah. I'll go check in with her later then. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And the
Love the new
The
haircut, by the way.
oh, thank you. Yeah, just an experiment. She waves and walks away. Inside of the green room, you step in and you immediately see Claddy. Apparently a gnome, kind of perched on his gnarled cane. One end, the small end on the ground, the gnarled end that's meant to be held in the hand upwards, and balancing on top of that on one foot. Sort of in a crouched position with his eyes shut and his arms folded.
Elsen will knock on the door frame, basically.
One eye creaks open. I didn't expect to see you so soon. How goes it? Oh, come in, come in.
Good to see you
Don't
as
need
well.
to linger in the doorway. Ah, Calda. Hello.
Hello, Claddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm well.
Hi.
These old bones are treating me as well as can be expected. Gives you a big obvious wink.
You have more than us.
Kane? And for a moment he looks very concerned.
Oh, no, he's stayed back. Don't worry.
Ah, good. I trust if there was any bad news you would lead with that, but
Yes.
yes.
Don't worry.
Well, there are cushions in that cabinet right there. They're used for meditation practice, but you might as well make the floor a little comfortable.
She will do so.
Yep.
We don't come with amazing news, but we don't come with terrible either.
Then you come with an enigma.
Yep.
Well, what better to bring it to than another enigma?
Well, let us hear it, and kind of unfolds his arms, pulls this long-stemmed pipe out of one wide sleeve, and just puts it in his mouth. You don't see him light it in any way, but somehow this silvery steam starts to rise from the cup of it.
I know prestidigitation.
Uh, He didn't seem to actually cast anything. Just for some reason, the pipe is suddenly going.
It's always on fire.
Anyways, Alsana will pull out, like, from her sleeve, the totem. This little piece of nastiness right here. We
If I
have...
may, hold out a hand.
Pass it over. We've recently found and secured the shrine at the Moor Marsh.
Good. Didn't expect there to be problems in that one. Should have been simple.
And here we are with that issue.
One moment. And from the motions he's already making and the slight mutters you hear, you can tell he is casting his own Identify on it. It takes a minute. He seems to be using the spell slot, not the ritual. Ends it, considers it, kind of on the pipe again, and then hands it back.
We found
Simple, but effective.
we found it, buried about a few feet in the earth by the shrine.
Yes, I noticed some grains of dirt stuck in the cracks and crannies.
It's reminiscent of symbolism and ideas from the southern areas of that place.
Oh yes, Larish. Little too serpenty.
And
No.
we're here trying to figure out why someone would care to cover the shrine, which is, even in public knowledge, regarded as a generally amiable place.
The same reason why two armies, two kingdoms now fight over the Emerald Fields. They might not know exactly what it is that they covet, but they can see its effects, they can feel its effects, they know it has value.
And also, like, snaps her fingers. That merchant had no problem with the snakes.
He didn't
No?
know.
So perhaps others of his kind wouldn't as well.
Perhaps.
Yuan-Ti.
Perhaps. Some can befriend such creatures, even called to purpose.
Could it have been one of you nature folks, Alsana? Maybe one of those Yuan-Ti nature folks? I don't...
They're not worthy of the magic if they pull something like that.
Lass, do you think that magic cares whether you're worthy or not?
No, but I do.
Well,
And I intend to track this person down, so that one might be a bit important, she says with a smile. No, I understand magic bends only in the way that metal might. But it has no care for whose hand it's in, should it be wielded right.
Yeah, but whoever's hands these were could have been malicious on a very small population, even of people. It was spreading around everywhere. So, and we're not even sure if it was the shrine they were sabotaging or the entire area.
But it's still an interesting pick. Kind of brought up an idea, and I'm not sure how much thought I want to put into it, but It's not possible the other side is sabotaging shrines, knowing what we're doing, is it?
I would not say so, but there are artifacts that can at least see between the realms. You carry one of a pair. I know not of any that can affect the other side, but I would not have thought it possible for some to fell a guardian
Fellow
on that side.
guardian.
My counterpart, the dragon that guards the threshold from the other side.
You keep up to date with them, though, no? Would you not have known if it fell into the hands?
Oh, we would know. We have been communicating. Yes. There was a flurry of activity around what we would call the plains, but, well, that was a week ago. And since then, it's been rather quiet.
Would you like me
If
to
they
check
are
in?
up to something, we do not know it. If you wish.
Would there be anyone good to check in on for
Huh.
maybe safety of the area?
Nobody that you would know, I think. If you are thinking of keepers on the other side.
Maybe the more human ones, that is.
No. Nobody I think that you would know.
Well, I don't. I know my counterpart has strength against scrying.
Does she? And the look sharpens a little. We'll have to let them know.
Alsana saw that after her visit here, didn't she?
Mhm.
She goes, "Oh, I forgot. No, I saw her."
It's possible that they may already know. I'm sure they have tried scrying, but if they have not, then they should be warned what they are getting into by attempting it.
She
Uh.
is hardy in it, and she can see it, and she can end it, not just dispel it, end it.
Well, could be worth it for at least looking in for a few scant seconds if it takes her time to see it at all.
Lars, on the other hand, I got a full view of. It seemed to take as much
Ah,
umbrage with an invisible thing staring at them.
well, that is something. And the others?
I've not been able to.
Hmm.
Though we did run into that other cult on the other side in the Feywild.
Yes, I do recall.
Hope she's not wreaking havoc in that area we went to after the Rose situation.
Oh, I don't think she could if she wanted to.
Yeah, it is well protected.
My dear Gold Antlers, sent her back once, I'm sure he can do it again.
And again. And again.
Though that does bring me to the fact that she was able to get there. It's possible it was simply
yes.
a portal on plane.
Such things exist, especially in this turning of eras.
Those us are working more independently. She probably found a portal and kept going to it instead of going, even if you had the power to, on that side and going plane shifting, I suppose.
Oh, you were reading my books that one time.
I was. The later chapters are so much more intriguing.
Yes, I know you can call down meteors and giant storms and tsunamis and stuff, but it's
My research, most I can do is bring someone back to life, and that's boring.
I would not call the gift of life boring.
Slight sarcasm.
I
I would hope.
on that note, how to put this? You wouldn't happen to have the body of the previous guardian, would you?
No. And for an instant, his face looks like a thundercloud, and you feel this drop in temperature. At first, it's refreshing from the summer heat, even in this room, cooler than the rest of the grounds. But this causes a shiver. No. They took it. We have not seen it since.
Damn them.
It's horrible. I'm sorry.
Mm. But he sighs and the coldness lifts. His face clears. There is no dwelling upon it. At least not for now. We have what we can in motion.
To bring it back to the original point, you don't have any more pointed suspicions about this thing? And she kind of like turns the totem on the floor.
It is roughly made, almost hasty. This is not the mark of something with deep planning or funding. Unless somebody is being very clever about disguising that fact.
Are you able to tell sort of when it was made and call this taking a closer look at it to it then?
He narrows his eyes at it. I'd almost say this is a wood carving check. So if anybody has proficiency in wood carving tools, you get proficiency in this check. It would be intelligence based.
I don't, but I want to make the check.
Also,
Just
I'll
for
ask guidance.
Thank
yep.
you.
So basically, just go ahead and roll an intelligence check.
Oh wow,
D4, D4, D4.
that's good for me.
I cannot see it. It's taking a while because
17
I'm opening.
plus 3.
Okay.
I have a -1.
Wow. You know what? I'll have Claddy roll too. Bloody hell, Claddy.
Thank you,
throw,
Claddy.
Can I throw one in for fun?
Go for it.
Alright.
Alright. Yeah, you were kind of concentrating on the guidance for Calda.
Alright.
So. Yeah, Calda, you are familiar with a slightly different craft, leatherworking. It's not the same thing, however, there is a little bit of carving into it, and you kind of get the idea of weathering on a material. You might not be able to accurately guess the weathering on wood, however, the cuts still look fairly sharp. They don't look like they've been worn down by excessive age, so at the very least, you can rule out anything that has been around for years and years and years, unless it is very well preserved and never handled for all that time.
Yeah, and we didn't really identify any preserving magic on it, so.
Cloudy gives it a look over and kind of surmises the same thing, adding that it is not pretty enough to be an heirloom, treasured and trusted, or at least in my eyes, unless there is sentimental value attached. So I would place it at no more than a year. As a very uneducated guess.
And then the magic on it isn't really stupendous either.
Oh no, an interesting bit of spellcraft, but nothing particularly powerful. I get the impression that it barely have a scope of, goodness, 10 miles at best. Probably not even that. And it would have taken time to build.
Someone
wouldn't
even took time to build something that looks like a snake and then added an enchantment to make it look like a snake.
Oh, well, that's simple enough. Sometimes you get
Yeah.
better luck binding magic to things that resonate with it, at least symbolically or material-wise.
The world of
Wood might-
magic is oddly fond of poetry.
Yes. You could probably get a similar spell to anchor onto a sufficiently wiggly bit of stick or metal, but you wouldn't have as easy a time of it.
Sticks better on a snake.
That is somewhat the reason why wands and staves for specific spells or styles of magic have shapings or carvings that evoke that magic specifically. It grasps better. Just a little.
My ashes hold the bit of symbolism of death and rebirth.
Exactly.
My focus shows more commitment to my craft and my oath, so yeah, you're right. Gods, what the fuck is this thing?
And then, of course, there's my staff, and he reaches down beneath his foot and taps the side of his wooden walking stick, which kind of curls on itself at the top.
Azala kind of gives a glance to it. It's like, I've always wondered, does that thing help you balance on it?
Oh no, this is just pure innate skill. Well, maybe a little bit of magical work as well. As you see him pick up the foot that was sitting on the cane and fold it on top of the other one, so he's hovering in midair above the cane, which does not fall.
Oh, that's just cheating.
Is it? I think it's exercising a different muscle. He puts the foot back down.
I suppose, but you're giving off the impression of a different muscle.
Ah. And there you see the, let's call it the core of my study of magic.
Illusionary?
Mist is quite fun to play with.
Are you where we see you standing right now?
Well, you can believe what you like.
Well, I mean, I'm not, so.
You already know that I am not what you see before you.
Yes, but no. I've hugged Tokuni. Oh, I've tried to. She pushed me away.
Tokuni does not care so much for the arcane arts, at least not in this young age.
But she's still a physical form.
Oh yes, we are. We do change our shapes. You're right, it is more transmutation than illusion, but even then it's a sort of transmutation that does not change the truth of the thing beneath.
If I were to try to dispel the magic on you, would you poof?
No, it is not a spell.
Okay.
It is innate.
I don't think
And
Tokuni would
to
let me
be
live that down if I tried it.
If you tried it in a small enough room and somehow were able to succeed, I don't think you would live through it regardless, because
I do it in a wide open area where no one's looking.
I was just going to say that we do not fit well in these rooms in our usual forms. Well, Tokeni might. I would not.
Oh no! How seriously? How tall is she in the other form?
How tall are you?
Far, far, far taller.
Oh, no,
Very.
I assume he could eat this entire building in one bite.
Perhaps not that much, but yes, I would be very noticeable.
No, but Tokuni, seriously, how tall is she?
Looks up. The height of this room, roughly. Standing on all fours, with the neck up. She
So
would have to keep the head slightly down to keep from scraping horns on the ceiling.
Oh, she has horns. Oh.
Back swept.
I'm going.
Mostly it's the frill, but that folds and bends and isn't so much of a concern.
Oh, I might have seen diagrams. Oh, okay. She's like seriously like looking and considering and thinking things. It's like, All right, information for later. She's not particularly tall or short for her age, is she?
She is still young, but she is strong.
Right.
Now, she still has some ways to go in growing in wisdom, but that will come with time and experience.
And maybe with a friend or two.
Perhaps. Though, if you wish to remain her friend, I would not go implying any such thing.
Oh no, I'm aware of the dance to dance.
Good.
And
So, were there any other questions?
I mean, this is the last one. What should we do immediately after? How much is time of the essence? Once we're past the point of immovable datelines.
We do not know. We are monitoring the situation through the keepers on the other side. They are keeping watch and telling us what information they gather. If anything dire happens, we may call upon you,
So we
whether
just
you have gotten the shrine or not. If we do not call upon you, if it seems not dire, you may have leave to find another shrine with the knowledge and acknowledgement that if something should happen, you will have to abandon it and come quickly.
She nods.
So we just wait.
Hmm.
We couldn't be proactive in this, could we?
Now, if you want to leave the shrine, if you think you are ready, then we can call you back and send you across. If you want to get at least the one more, if possible, then unfortunately, you have to wait for the moon to be ready.
I feel like we could get at least more marsh, and then I think we'd be good from there. I don't know.
We can talk about it once the whole group is together.
Indeed, it'll be a bit.
Because that would also depend on which one we go to and who would be getting it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm close to a particular breakthrough of magic, or you are Kane or close to some sort of development that would aid in disemboweling our worse halves, then it might be worth it. But we'd have to plan where to go.
That's that'd probably have to be more of a decision closer to at least the full moon, or at least soon afterwards, if not needed. Or we could just go right afterwards and be that proactive force and give them a kick in the teeth.
I'd want to make sure that we give them no space, no quarter, no room to wiggle out.
And I feel like we should be there before they realize we're coming.
That is the question, isn't it? Is it better
I-
to give them that bit of maybe time, or head there earlier, less prepared?
I feel like we should at least finish the shrine, Alsana.
Yeah.
At least for Kane and I to get on the same level as you and
Oh
Alaris
no,
had.
the more one, yes.
Yes, but anyone after that, I believe maybe we should be more proactive in getting to that than anything else.
Uh, I guess one curiosity that leads to, Claddy, let's say everything goes just wonderfully and we make our trip and fix the problem, so to say. What of the other
Mhm.
shrines?
What of them?
Would we have reason or need to make use of them?
Each shrine compounds power when used in this way. The reason you were sent to them was to prepare, because at the time that you arrived at Threshold, your counterparts had already trapped and killed a great dragon. They had strength. You needed to catch up and quickly. Whether you are ready now or not, I could not say. I do not know where exactly they measure, and besides which, from what I heard, they used cunning as half their battle. They didn't simply overwhelm him with power. But I have greater hope, seeing you now, how far you have come. You've been through many shrines and many trials. You have grown. I would not have given you passage to the other side of this balance of worlds as you were when you first arrived at the beginning of this year.
I would hope not. There would be a smear on the wall.
Yeah.
Not precisely. Rather a waste. But as you are now, I would hope you would be able to manage, especially working together. If that is one strength you have over them, from what I have heard, it's that they have allied. Sometimes they will be on the same field of battle. I know that all four were involved in felling the other. But, for the most part, they seem to walk their separate ways, crossing paths, sometimes lending aid, but
The time I saw all three of them, they were on their own.
If we could catch them one at a time before they realize we're there, at least getting one of them out of the way may be a bit more effective than fighting all of them head on.
Frankly,
Indeed.
I'd recommend maybe myself.
Yeah, if she's giving protection to the others, maybe if they are near each other against scrying, if we get rid of her first, the rest aren't as protected and we can find the others a bit easier.
No, and well, I suppose this part hasn't actually been outright stated. She turns to Claddy. You intend for us to kill them?
If you can find a way to neutralize their threat, remove their power without their death, then it would not be unwelcome. But I fear that they are driven. Even without power, who knows what they could find to do.
It's like runs a tongue over her teeth and just
I will say this much. Do what you feel needs to be done for the safety of both worlds.
Right.
Of course.
So he kind of just like leans back and just kind of like lies flat down on the floor. Oh, we have a lot ahead of us.
No use dwelling on it before the shrine, though. We could have our existential crisis. Maybe in that.
We have plenty of time to dwell on it. I'll dwell on it as much as I want.
Hey, you dwell on it. We can have our existential crises.
Yes.
Months into this, and I think it's hitting us a little harder today.
Perhaps it is for the best, or perhaps not, that you found out early. I have wonder. If you had not guessed at the existence of the mirrored world, if you had gone on blindly,
Alsana
and
picks herself
I'd
up. Had you been a bit sneakier in your efforts to hide it?
Had we not run into the mirror called as well, which was terrifying, by the way.
Oh, yes. Yes, you picked up on some unforeseen circumstances and guessed well. And at that point, I saw no reason to continue to lie. Though I wonder now, if I had, and if you had trusted me, and if it had not shattered all trust when the truth came out, would you be suffering so much doubt?
In terms of termination or neutralization?
In any terms. Existential crises? I believe you said.
I
mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it just feels like, it's us. We know who we're all related to, and we know who they're going to end up leaving behind. But you told they are they're the opposite of us, and if we're good, then they must be not good.
It is not as simple as that. In this case,
They've
it is
proven it,
promo-
though.
enough. Yes. We would not be sending you against people just because we assumed you were good and therefore they must be evil. That is how the Howling Plains became what they are, and that is how the Keepers of Balance fell in this world.
They have families, and they have kids, 2 of them. They have spouses, and
And this concern is what sets you apart from them.
And let's not forget that you would be essentially dropping on us all at once that, one, they've done what they've done. They had the capability to do what they've done. That it is, in fact, us, but maybe not us, but maybe us, so we are dreading on what they can actually do. I wouldn't have had the time to actually look in on them like I have with this thing, or I might have, and I might have found it out earlier before you had said something. So just mark that down for the next when this happens next millennia.
Also, if we just went there and saw our mirror images, I feel like we'd hesitate. Because then all that existential dread would have happened then, and not right now.
Oh, we would have told you before sending you, but perhaps not months before.
Why do I get the feeling that with your mannerisms that means right before you kick us into the portal?
Yeah, that's what my concern was too.
Same here.
I'd like to think I would have been wiser than that, but I also have to admit that that is a funny image. Imagine your faces.
No!
I'm sorry.
Once again, smears on walls.
You would
Yeah.
have been prepared.
If they've been doing all this bad stuff even before we've all met each other here, then in a sense they may deserve it. Or get what they pay for, I suppose.
They need to be stopped.
Yeah, killed something pretty powerful, and now they're pretty powerful.
Not just powerful, but important. Valuable.
Hmm.
One dedicating themselves to keeping the balance.
Yeah, and if they're the reason that it may get fucked up, I suppose that they need to at least be terminated in case they, or one of them at least, come back and start getting more people and building up a cause, causing bad stuff to happen. So I think they need to die.
There's still something to be lost. We don't know everything they've done. We don't know everything they've gotten up to in that time. They could have plans going in the back, contingencies.
They could have an army.
And if we leave 4 corpses, we might not know about the cult Alaris started up on the side. That's about to cause some issues.
So take prisoner and leave them all separated so they don't heal each other and get powerful and kick our asses?
Or perhaps I look into a way of taking away what they have. As I've said before, they're not worthy of it.
Taking away what they have in what sense?
All of it.
Alsana, you're worrying me. I need you to be specific.
She rolls her eyes. Their magic. Their
Okay.
strength. There exist certain spells that, while not a personal favorite of mine, render people less capable.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'd want to go to that extent, but perhaps I could find something.
Do you have the power to do that spell?
Not yet.
Do you have the ability to do that spell?
Feeble Mind is on the druid list, yes.
Okay, that's. I forgot.
I could feel the intended question in my
Yeah.
bones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just checking that one.
Let's not be hasty.
Let's make a plan at least before we're
The-
called if we can.
Know of anyone I offer myself up to sacrifice?
No, you're not sacrificing yourself.
The other me.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, we're gonna get back, and we're gonna get back here after that's all done. We all are.
Also pulls herself up. Plenty well I've got you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm thinking too far ahead and have ideas in the clouds, so to say, but
The clouds are good places to get ideas. He says with his eyes closed again.
you'll have to show me one day.
Perhaps.
I'll hold you to it. But I mean, I suppose I've already started doing it as is. Once this is all said and done, and assuming I return, what would you think of instituting watchers, keepers, lesser guardians of the shrines?
He opens his eyes. Once upon a time, the shrines were kept. Guarded, known, and abused. We watched the Green River. We watched the Threshold. We know of the Emerald Fields and the Moor Marsh. The others were allowed to slip into obscurity, though we knew generally where they were, just in case. There is security in guarding such things, but there is also greater danger because a guard can draw attention. Hence, Green River in disguise. Threshold. Nobody knows this island is special. We are just a bunch of slightly isolationist, kooky old monks with a very, very old base of operation
I mean, you're not
and a
lying.
role of total neutrality. No, I'm not. And the best illusions are cloaked in things that are not lies.
Especially the kooky part.
It helps to be viewed as such. To
Oh,
be just smoke. And he exhales a long, longer than it should be cloud. And it takes the form, vaguely, of a dragon before dispersing.
oh, please tell me this is one great masquerade and you're actually a horribly serious and no fun individual.
Well, if I told you that, where would the fun be?
Well, might I say either way, you put a great effort in either maintaining the fun or the mask.
Hmm.
But in this idea, I suppose, I would do my best to keep that secrecy, that unassuming nature. The one I've planted seeds of already is in Soren, in the Soren Wood,
Hmm.
a place already considered to have a guardian.
Well, that should be safe enough.
There is.
I would trust in your discretion, as long as you know this and can keep it in mind.
She nods.
No great organizations, no entire parties of things aware that they are guarding something valuable, even if they don't know why it is valuable.
Oh no, just a handful of friends I can trust.
Hmm.
And ones who hold allegiance to the place.
Well, for all our sakes, I will hope that it works as you intend. And also to avoid being too cynical. But I do fear that you cannot have a betrayal without trust being there first.
Nods.
However, that is a concern that is extreme at times. So,
Well then, I suppose.
organize your guardians then and keep them discreet.
For right now, there is a Pegasus by the name of Brachiel, currently residing in the Soren Woods.
Charming.
He's a very nice boy. As well, I have a friend who is not in the loop, so to say, but she has decided to aid in the rejuvenation of the woods.
Hmm.
A beekeeper and a druid.
Mm-hmm. I would just be careful of word spreading that a place is a place of miracles.
Shakes her head. No, I wouldn't want that.
And what say you, Alaris? You with a home on the edge of these woods.
Yeah. I'm not sure. He's to be fair, he's kind of been spacing out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of staring because he has
Alaris
to
has-
here now. Yeah, Alaris and myself. Shut up.
Yep. You can keep the secret. You can keep it safe. The
Well, so-
shrine in the woods.
Yeah.
I'll make sure of it.
Very
Don't worry.
well. I will leave any further details to you. You do not need to tell me of them at this time.
Oh, but I like to.
Hmm.
No, but when things are more, I don't want to say concrete, considering it's a bit of a smokescreen of itself. When the mist has settled more, I can lay out the plans better.
Very well. For now, you have a shrine to, well, wait for, and perhaps unravel a little something of a mystery about.
And a silver-haired friend to bother. We'll go find
Oh,
Tokenie. You two can do as you like. I'm not gonna be able to pick us anywhere for the evening.
That's alright. Cuddy, would you like some tea?
I would not say no.
I'll go bring some tea and we can sit in silence and appreciate the nature. And I sound sort of like Alsana and her druid friends, but this is a very serene room.
Down the hallway. I'm rubbing off on you.
Unfortunately, but this is the good type of rubbing off on me. Yeah, I got wrong.
I'm sorry, Savriel is poisoned every well.
Yeah.
So,
As a purpose would say, gross.
Gross.
Yep. So Calda, you gather things for tea and you're able to sit in nice, calm, contemplative silence. Though at one point, as you're sitting there, you start to hear from Claddy as you look over, eyes still shut, arms still folded, but head tipped down to the brim of his hat covers his face. He seems to be snoring, still balanced on top of the staff.
And an anime snot bubble kind of coming out of the nose.
I'm gonna shrug. She's like, I respect your elder, and she's just gonna like put two pillows side by side and just fall onto her back and just stare at the ceiling.
Okay. Elaris, you've got kind of the run of Threshold. You've
Yep.
got at least half a day in front of you. Is there anything you are doing with your time here?
Nothing really.
All right.
Maybe a bit of target practice.
Sure. You absolutely shred various targets.
I was gonna say, like, go find some, like, regular old guards around Threshold and just smoke them.
do a target practice hustle. Just like, hey.
Before long, you were pulling off insane trick shots. You were bouncing bolts off of like curved cauldron bottoms.
Like, dude,
shooting-
perfect. Yeah.
You're shooting blindfolded. And maybe a nat one happens and you miss, but otherwise you're hitting the target every time.
Yeah.
Okay, now do it blindfolded. Okay. My leg.
So that would be the rest of your day. Kane, you spend a good few hours pulling your way up the
Marsh.
Heartbreak River into the Moor Marsh.
Yep.
Through the trees, hearing the buzz of insects and the scream of birds. And back to Moor. You pull up closer to evening than not.
Kind of sigh, tie up all the boats, make his way over first to the boatmaker.
Yep.
Finley.
You see Finley, not actually working on a boat, but you come across him on the way there, just repairing a little section of walkway that had gotten kind of rough, kind of trimming off an edge and sanding it smooth again.
Place both palms on it just to stabilize it while he does his work.
Thanks. Just keep it there, and he keeps working. After he finishes, make sure it's flat and flush. He sits back on his heels. So, you're back.
For a short time. Just gotta
Yeah.
check suspicion that I forgot to check before.
You brought my boat back, right?
Both of them.
Good. No holes or scratches?
Not that I noticed.
Good. Ask.
You don't know if anyone's gone to the stones past few months, have they?
He shrugs. Oh, there's always Sylvia. Every week, every 2 weeks. I think Harry went at one point just to make sure that everything would go well and she would be strong, the usual. Um, uh, Dad had a bit of a twinge in the knee and went to have that smoothed over.
Who's Finley's dad again?
Gilligan.
Right, okay. Simon, alright.
The usual back and forth.
You don't know of anyone talking about some weird snake trinket they had, or anything like that?
Gives you a weird look. Snake trinket.
Yeah, found some weird shit when I went to go clear out the snakes. Just want to make sure someone here didn't get tricked into it or some kid didn't drop off something by accident.
Huh. Nobody in my hearing or recollection.
Alright, I'm gonna have to go by everyone's house then. If I take the boat down all the way to Shannon back up, I think it'll be able to hold up that long.
It's a good boat, but it's not really made for the river.
How long would it take to make one that is?
Couple of weeks.
I guess the only one we really had of that is mine that I took out, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you wanted something versatile, so I made you something versatile.
I'll just sigh and be like, alright. I appreciate it, by the way.
I'm not saying
You-
you couldn't make it to Shannon back, but
I don't want to
That
risk your
seems-
material, man.
yeah. If it sank, I'd sink you.
I know. I wouldn't make it back with the marsh to be sunk anyways. Probably not make it all the way to Tanniger if I tried, but getting back to the marsh would take me too long. So, I'm not gonna go risking your boat, don't worry.
Good.
Now, you ever seen a thin boat made with skins rather than wood?
Heard of him. Don't trust him.
Pulls it out of his bag.
And the look that Finley gives it is indeed of a deep distrust.
I know you hate them, but barring any kinds of attacks or arrows, I think this could make it.
Better you than me.
What would you do to make it better?
I'd build something else from scratch.
And you're real sticking with it sometimes, you know that?
Right, if you want me to do something to it, you can leave it at my house. Give me a couple of days.
Even if it's just using alligator skin rather than something thin as this.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
You need to do some work for it, just say the word.
Oh, you're gonna work for it, alright.
I know. Got anything you need repair? Any of your tools? I can sharpen them up for you.
Got a chisel that's gone dull.
I'll take care of it for you by tonight.
Good. I'm not gonna need it for this anyway, unless I figure something out that's real weird.
I'm always here for weird. I seem to attract it.
Yeah, stick it in the workshop. I've got to fix a railing.
We'll kind of set it all down as. By the way, you don't need any random tools or anything like that by chance, do you?
Wouldn't say no to a new plane.
Alright.
Something a little bit bigger than my current one. It's doesn't cover as much. Good for the smaller angles, but yeah.
Kane will do his best to pull a set of plane at various angles out of his bag.
Okay. Roll your d20.
Pretty average.
Yeah. You pull out a workable, decent set. And Finley just looks at you, looks at the bag. Now, how'd you have that just in there?
Did I never show this to you while I was here?
Show what?
The bag.
What about it?
Well, you saw me pull a boat out of it. You saw me pull a set of tools. I'm pretty sure I've got a couple £100 worth of stuff in there, and it's light as a piece of leather.
You're pulling my leg?
Hold it. Here. He hands it to him. Now, I want you to imagine, you know that pole that I used for punting, the 10-foot one? Metal?
I think I've seen it.
Pull it out of there. It's in there.
He looks in the bag. It's empty. He looks at
Okay.
you.
Stick your hand in. Trust me.
He starts to move to turn it inside out.
Bad choice. Reach your hand in. It's not going to bite you.
He stops, sets it right, reaches a hand in, and kind of reaches further and further and further. His arm goes up to the elbow, and his face is like, what the hell?
About it.
And
Don't
then
just
pulls his
consider it.
hand out, and the 10-foot metal pole comes with it. And he pulls it out, looks in the bottom of the bag, kind of holds it above his head, and shakes it. Nothing falls out, of course.
He's just smiling watching this.
Puts it
I like
back.
to imagine Kane did the exact same thing when he first got it.
Probably.
Says,
You might have turned it inside out just to see if there was anything.
oh,
in there.
probably.
And he looks
Got
at
about-
you.
Got about
And,
9 different weapons in there. 3 sets of tools. Had that boat for a while. A bunch of gear that I wanted to keep. My compass. My old trinkets. Rope. Shield. Extra sets of armor. It's useful.
He puts the 10-foot pole back in the bag, just kind of drops it, hands the bag back to you. Friggin' weird.
You're telling me, but every day or so I can pull an object out of there that wasn't in there when I got it last. So, once this is all done, or while I'm here, if you need something, just don't hesitate to call.
Weird. It's like the world outside doesn't have foundations. It doesn't rest on any pylons. It just floats in midair. The hell?
Well, think about it this way: we're used to foundations we can see because of the water. Imagine how many foundations are beneath the earth. We're just not looking right.
Goddamn magic. He just kind of sits down,
I could hear what you wanted to say there.
grabs a hammer, and starts bang, bang, bang.
He
on
smiles
the-
and says, "And one more question for you, Finley. Sorry to bother you.
What?
If I learned to make that fish dish I've been trying to figure out for so many years, which one would be the first taste tester?
I'll be the second taste tester after you taste it, and I watch to make sure you don't keel over.
I promise you, anything that can kill you is not going to kill me, but sure thing. I don't care how old and wrinkly you are. Helps. I'll feed it to Sylvia, and then I'll feed it to you.
Sylvia's gonna outlast both of us, and you know it. Points his hammer at you.
He smiles and just pats him on the back on the way out. And Kane is going to go to each of the houses and each of the people in town and ask if they know anything about the trinket, if they've been to the stones and what they saw while they were there, if they've seen anyone else there, and just the whole town. It's like 12 people, so it's not that hard, but still.
Yep. All right. Well,
Only give me the relevant details, you don't need to recount everything.
yeah, it's pretty much everybody reports everything is normal. Cuthbert might say something about, oh, he swears he saw something in the mist once, but it's kind of Cuthbert, honestly.
Saying that
he
for 16
wants-
years.
Yeah, he kind of once mistook a gnarled old tree that had always been there because he saw it at just the right angle and the right lighting as like an ogre that had come into the swamp and sent you out after it with Tulloch, and yeah, it was a gnarled old tree.
That makes sense. He'll still keep note of it as best he can.
Yep. But Um, go ahead and just, I guess, roll a general. If you're looking for anybody who might have forgotten something or anything like that, go ahead and roll an insight, just in case. All right, yeah, because nobody says they know anything about a serpent anything.
Just
Nobody
like
says
wooden
that-
talisman.
yeah. Pretty much the closest you get to any mention of the snakes is exactly what you guys found out and were told when you and Calda visited a week or two before. Uh, Snakes became more numerous, especially around the shrine. It became a little more dangerous to go there. There might have been a close call with say Marlin at one point, where he got bitten and had to be rushed back to Cuthbert, but fortunately he'd resisted the poison and so it didn't do as much harm. But yeah, nobody noticed anything overt. It seemed to be a gradual change. An observation one day that, oh, there's a snake there. Oh, there's a couple of snakes there. Unusual. And then a few days later, oh, there's a lot of snakes there. And then a few days after that, when somebody needed to visit, a lot of snakes.
Those Toluk just kind of sighs while we're counting this because it's like a boulder rolling down the hill. But I forgot to figure out who put it up there first.
Mm-hmm.
Toluk, do you have anything fun to drink?
Tulloch goes and pulls out essentially a hollowed out gourd, pulls a cork in it, hands it over. It's strong stuff. It's really strong stuff.
He says, "You gonna drink with me or no?"
Take a sip and pass it over.
And he will just take a genuine mouthful and hand it back.
And Tulloch does the same. Hands it back.
I assume they do that for about an hour or two, just talking and just.
Tulloch
By the
asks
time
you how it's going, kind of commiserates with you on the lack of knowledge, kind of extends a hope that, well, you found the thing. Maybe that'll be the end of it. And by the end of it, is just kind of leaning against you and just talking about, I used to be just alone in the world. And I didn't have anybody, and now I got Evie and Toby and Lexi and Kay and Sylvia.
She has
in
you.
the
You don't have her.
town. Yeah, but I've never been had before either. Well, I guess my parents, but it's weird. It's weird. You go from one thing to another, and you don't even know you've gone.
Roll for how drunk Kane is.
A Constitution check.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Pretty drunk.
Yep, Kane just leans against him too, just like. So look, what's it like to be desired like that? What's it worth?
There's kind of a goofy grin. Yeah, I think so. Oh, some days I kind of miss the wandering, but yeah. This is good.
Worth the marsh?
Yeah. He nods.
it
I
worth-
got used to all you and the bugs and the mud and the... No, that wasn't so different.
Worth leaving the marsh? Now that you've been
Yeah,
here?
think so. Can imagine them wanting to leave, but if it had to be done, I'll do it for him.
Just sighs, he's gonna lean back onto the wood platform and pull the message stone out and kind of press it against his lips because that's how it works.
Mhm.
And just breathe into it, thinking of Alsana just saying, "No one in town did it. I need my boat to get downstream.
Right.
So let me know."
Alsana, you get this message later in the evening.
She got like tilted in her hand. She gets the word responses, right?
Yes.
She'll just respond with. Let me think. Talk to Claddy. No better leads.
Message after if you need to. So
I'm just trying to think of how to phrase things. What's 6? So
don't put too much thought into it. Kane's very drunk.
I know, just Lazaro would be more put together than I am right now. We'll talk with the others. We'll be around threshold for a day or two. That's it.
He gets the message. Just, "Well, Talk, you got me here for a couple days. So check to make sure he's still conscious." Is Talk still conscious?
Tolok is in that semi-conscious state where he could be, but he might not be very soon.
He just smiles and says, "You're not gonna remember this, but and don't tell Sylvia, but I've got a girlfriend now."
Oh, congratulations. That's good, buddy. That's good. I have to drink to that. And reaches over and slings an arm around your shoulders and pats one.
I don't think there's much left to drink, Talk.
No, then we got a whole gourd. And he pulls it over and looks inside. Where'd it go?
Straight to your head, I think. I
Ah,
swear, you could outdrink a fish if you tried hard enough.
He's not paying attention to you. He's currently tipping the gourd up and trying to catch the last little drops.
He just smiles and rubs him by the back of the head. "Come on, let's get you back to your wife."
Yeah, okay. I like my wife. That is good. She's so good to me.
She does not deserve to be someone so wretched as you.
No, she doesn't. Don't tell her.
Eh, you're braving the marsh for her. I think that means more than you know.
Maybe. And he just kind of slumps against your shoulder and you help him walk down
Oh, I don't help. I sling him over my shoulder.
Alright, you just fireman carry him down the
Yep,
walkway.
drunk or not, I've got a strength of 20.
Yep. The strength isn't the problem, the balance might be. You're super top heavy right now and your head is swimming.
I'm always top heavy, that's fine.
Super top heavy. So just for the sake of this, go ahead and roll a flat dexterity check
Sure.
at disadvantage.
Okay.
One more. You manage to make it. You don't drop him. You don't topple off into the water, though you do catch yourself wandering a little close to the edge at one point, kind of whoop.
I imagine he's using the Rod of Lord they might as a walking stick.
The greatest use for a legendary weapon.
I think that's very rare.
Yeah, true.
He kind of just like stumbles in the door like, "I brought your fish back."
Evie looks over, double takes. What on earth have you two done?
I got him drunk.
Evie, I tell you how pretty you are today.
I'm gonna carry him over to his bed and just flop him into it.
Oh, he's insufferable, and you encouraged him?
I haven't seen him in 6 months, Effie. Come on.
Hmm. And that's the only reason I'm not smacking you with the ladle?
I give you permission to smack me if you want. It'll probably bounce off my gorgeous cheekbones.
Oh, you ruined it. Fine.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
He smiles and just gets up to give her a hug, just like, you take care of him, okay?
Yeah, go home. You're drunk too. I can smell it.
That's fair.
Try not to fall into the swamp.
I'll float. Always have.
Not in this, you won't. And she just cling taps your armor.
Oh yeah. He's gonna just like try to strip off the chainmail.
Please, not in. Oh, for heaven's sake. Down in the corner.
Yep, he does, and he takes it all off and disarms and basically puts everything metally into his bag and settles back into what he probably looked like when he left the marsh.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll float.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, it might sober you up.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. And he's going to walk by wherever Sylvia sleeps and kick her bed as hard as he can and walk back to his house.
There's a shriek, and as you walk out the door, something crashes into the wall behind you.
He smiles and just keeps walking.
Crack.
All
Being a
right.
brat is fun.
It's like the tip of a knife, like sticking out the side of the wall outside.
That might worse.
You get home, you flop down, and proceed to sleep off the inebriation.
Toxins that he's ingested.
Mm-hmm. Back in Threshold. People can wrap up their day. Alsana, you spent some time with Tokani.
Mm-hmm.
She is putting forth an effort to be more civil.
Mm. She lets her know she appreciates it.
Mm-hmm.
She'll also just kind of run by and talk to her about the little guardian project idea she has.
Yeah, I like it.
I figured it'd be good to keep you in the loop since you're in line for decision making.
Yeah.
If you have any recommendations and people I could go find again once all things are said and done.
She kind of starts staring into the distance a little bit. Just offhand, roll me an insight check.
Sure. 14.
She looks like she's thinking about something, but not saying it.
Also, I'm just gonna like lightly bumps her shoulder. Something on your
Yeah,
mind?
no, I don't really know. Don't get out that much for meeting things like Pegasus's.
You seem to have something particular in mind, though.
Not really. I mean, probably wouldn't happen.
Come on.
It's just you'd have to convince my granddad, and he's a bit of a stick in the mud about this.
How would I know what to do or not to do if you're not going to be specific?
How about I guarded one of them?
She like raises her eyebrow. I didn't want to say
What?
it out loud.
What?
She kind of like in like a exaggerated motion, kind of like reads her up and down and walks around her.
What?
Oh, I suppose you'd be okay for it.
Okay, you see her clench a fist and pull back like she's gonna punch you, and then she forces it down.
She has a smile on her face.
Right, okay, sarcasm. Ha, ha, funny. But seriously.
Come now, you
Just
know
like-
I don't know any other dragons.
Yeah, so, what's the one that you think is the most... gonna see the most action?
Hmm. Well, I did have a project in mind. The one down in the Howling Plains.
The eyebrows go up and up. Oh,
I
is it really as dangerous as they say?
She tilts her head back and forth. Depends on what you consider danger.
Okay, fine, fair. Probably less than what other people do.
There are gnolls. There are
Mhm.
undeath in various
Mhm.
forms. And there are two rather large nagas, which may need beaten to submission before they start seeing my side of the argument.
Oh, really?
Two, a guardian and a spirit. They used to be advisors in the old kingdom from way back when.
All right.
And I tried to make peace with them, and it didn't go well.
So, are they? Can
So
you
we,
freeze them, or are they more slice and dice?
so we had to fight them,
Mm-hmm.
and we killed them.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 7 days later, they came back.
Mm-hmm. There's a grin growing on Tokeni's face. Mm-hmm. I see.
Now,
Yeah.
mind you, I don't intend to just simply murder them into submission,
Uh-huh.
but we might need to, let's say, tire them out before
Yeah.
they might be willing to listen to me a bit more. Hey,
Oh, no.
focus.
Sense. I'm paying attention. That just makes sense.
I can see the bloodlust in those eyes.
Look, I haven't had a good fight in probably 20, 25 years. And I'm better now than I was then. You know, I'm older, I'm stronger, I'm more mature. I want to get out there.
Would you like maybe a little warm up, light training?
Right? Bring it.
Oh, not me. I've got some friends.
Oh? She pauses halfway through drawing her sword.
And she'll rise a finger up and conjure minor elementals.
Oh goodness.
What do you conjure?
That's a good question. Let me check Donjon.
Donjon.
Because I can tell you what, one elemental challenge rating 2 or lower, she probably just carves through. The 8 elementals challenge rating a quarter or lower, she also probably carves through, to be honest.
Yep.
It's really down to flavor.
She is. She's going to do. Let's do. She's going to do a assortment of methods if she can.
Okay. A little variety pack.
Yes, not using ice methods.
Yeah. The party tray of
Yes.
methods. Alright. Tokeni still just carves straight through them all, but she might be a little bit singed at the end. Some lucky hits.
Dust method has a death burst that might blind her.
Death bursts happen. She seems to enjoy herself for the all of 1 minute it might take. And she, when it's over, she looks at you and says, "Again."
Let me find something else. And she's going to. She's going to. Let's see. Are there any bugs nearby?
Probably. Some are insects. They're around.
Giant insect.
All right. You get a giant.
She throws 3 giant spiders at her.
Yep. And she enjoys that as well, greatly. Takes her a little bit longer to take these apart. Just a little bit. And when she finishes that, she says, one more. Give me a good one."
I mean, if you insist. So let's go wild shape.
Uh-huh.
Let me check beasts.
Okay.
What are we rocking here? What's the CR rules again on that?
Third, I believe.
CR3?
It's not
Can't remember.
half. Let me check.
Yeah. I was hoping this music would be a little more fun, but nah, it's a little too low-key.
It just in the area it would say it says half or lower false because thank you roll 20.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the book. Let's see. I'm doing a flip through the book. It's
I'm
just
scrolling
taking
through
a
roll
little
20.
bit. Yeah,
You,
roll
your,
20 inaccurate.
your druid level determines the beast you can transform into, as shown in the beast shapes table. At second level, for example, you can control any beast that has a challenge rating of a quarter or lower. So it's a quarter of your level.
No.
No, that's an 8. What the fuck? Is it an 8th?
At 8th level, you can have a max
Maximum
CR of
CR
1.
is 1. Yeah.
So it's an
You-
8th.
Nope. Once you are 8th level, you can do a
Yeah.
CR1. The number of
Yeah.
hours is equal to half your druid level rounded down. So your hours is no longer accurate
Okay.
on there.
Okay.
But yes, CR1 or lower, flat out.
Giant goat question mark?
Alright, in that case, actually, she'll go, stay right there. I'll be just a second. Also, let's go find Calda.
All this in the same like room that you left her and just like on her back staring at the ceiling. Hello.
Want to get some frustrations out?
Yes!
Come with me.
Yes!
Sorry. Oh, are the
Here.
opponent?
Here.
And Alsana will come back, Calda in tow.
Oh! Alsana, you didn't tell me that.
All right. And Tokeni Tokeni looks at you and says, "Both of you?
Sure.
All right, not here. Come on."
We need
Follow
some
me.
payback.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And she leads you down those stairs into the room where you fought her once before, all those months ago.
Mhm.
You get inside. You kind of line up, looking at each other across the center of the room. And Tokeni kind of steps back behind the little dais and says, "Right. Don't hold back." And you see her transform into the shape of a large silver dragon.
Okay.
I do not have 35 hit points. 1 second.
Yep, nope, that's an old token from last time. It was still on the map, so I left it.
That's why I don't set that one up.
Yep.
None of my buttons are set up for that.
Right.
Oh, new token.
You two seem like you're having fun. I'm gonna go see my wife.
So, the question is, do you think you can get this done in 15 minutes or less, or should we save it for next time?
I think we can do that.
Yeah, we
Is
got it.
she's
We
a
know
bit-
what to do.
Could we roll
Alright.
for her being a bit worn down from the last ones?
Roll a d20.
Alright.
Oh, wait, one moment.
All right, she's down 18 hit points.
So
work?
I have a question about level ups.
Yes.
We had a short rest on the boat after we fought the elemental.
Yep, but for the ease of this and for moving things along, we're going to say that you level up on a long rest instead, just for this, okay?
Cool, it's like 3 things, but okay, cool.
It's This is a fun fight.
Okay.
This is not a plot fight, so I'm not worried about.
It's just
this.
the charisma. I don't care. Let's do it.
All right, go ahead and roll your initiative.
Fuck.
Of course, I'm gonna have to use that token because it's actually linked to the sheet.
Okay.
As Tokuni takes on her true form, she looks down at you from a height and seems thoroughly unprepared for you guys moving real fast. Alsana.
Oh, you're so pretty. And she's going to shoot a.
Oh my god, you're complimenting her for psychological warfare.
Yes. Flaming sphere, 4th level.
All right, draw your 5-foot diameter, and you're ramming it in as a bonus action. Yes.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, that is a saving throw. Is it dexterity? It's dexterity saving throw.
Yep.
All right. Let's get that thing. Yeah. She is very dexterous and takes half the fire damage, which is 9. 9. All right.
And also, I'm gonna back up.
There is a sharp roar of pain as she jerks a clawed arm out of the way of the flaming sphere.
Actually, I'll have put it there.
All right. Calda.
Whee!
Yep.
Bonus action, bonus action, bonus action. I haven't done this in a while. Vow of Enmity.
Don't look, I'm fucking popcorn for this.
Alrighty, 1. Oh, that's gross.
19 hits.
Okay, let's do 2. Okay.
Oh no.
Hell
Oh
yes.
my god.
Oh hell yeah!
So, what's your highest spell slot?
That's an extra 4d8.
Oh god. Okay, go ahead and do that. I am gonna be.
Does anything have?
No.
Probably. Okay, so 12, 16, 24. So, yeah, no, 28.
67 damage.
5.
Yep.
Holy god, Calda.
All of my attacks have advantage on her right now, Ariel.
Yep.
All of them.
Yep.
I think it might be more. Sorry, I'm just gonna redo the math just in case.
The smite alone is 39. So you got 39, 50, 51, 55,
16 on the first one.
69. I'm adding. Fuck. I fucked it up. That's a cone, alright.
Oh, Ariel's about to give you a bad time.
Actually,
Yeah, no. Both
no.
of us.
Both of us.
Boom. As you rend through her scales and she roars in pain,
Mhm.
she circles around you, lining up. She opens her mouth, takes a deep breath, and you feel the shimmering cold in front of her maw.
Alsana puts her arms out.
Yep.
It's not as immune. I am just resistant, but let's see how it goes.
Yep.
Alrighty, advantage off. DC 17. I'm fine.
Yep. You take half as much damage and then you resist, so you take another half. So
Thanks
yep.
for the bonus, Calda.
You're not within 10 feet of me, and
That's
you're
what I
immune.
mean. No,
You're
I'm not.
immune.
I'm immune
Oh,
from
it's not
magical.
Oh no.
It's physical.
Get
Yep.
fucked.
So,
Wait.
So 25, 26.
I think I'm fine.
26 cold? Ariel? Half?
28.
That's
Yeah,
30
28.
28.
And half of 28 is a DC 14, yes?
Yes.
Nope.
Yep. Flaming sphere. We'll say that the combination of cold and ice slamming into your body, breaking your concentration, and also the cold and ice cutting across the sphere itself, interfered enough, just enough, that the shock of it made the fire fizzle out. Calder the dragon turns and snarls at you, showing rows of pearly white teeth.
Cool.
Alsana.
We're still standing this time. Good try. Ice try.
That was terrible!
So was your
Doing
attempt.
your best, dear.
Alsana is going to. Yeah, sure. Back up it goes. This time at 3rd level.
All right, so that's another dexterity saving throw. Ooh, she fails.
All right. So.
It's
11.
11.
Do.
Mhm.
So. 6.
How many?
You're pretty good 6. Okay, yeah, go for it.
Poor arm.
26. It was just still up.
And Alsana is going to jog over to here.
Mhm.
Smart.
Calda.
Okay, advantage.
Yep.
1.
Dear God. Okay, as you wind this up, she sees it coming. She sees the smite glimmering.
Oh no.
For a moment, you see doubt in her eyes, draconic as they are.
I would roll the other one.
And just as you swing,
Fuck.
she puts up a claw and says, "Stop!"
Another good one!
As Calda comes down and the entire floor beside her explodes into dust.
I'm just
Yep.
gonna roll that extra d8 just see what happens.
And just for the flavor of it, how do you actually want to do it? Do you want to knock her out? Do you want
No. I'm gonna, when she sees the claw, Calda's going to smash into the floor right beside her and so sort of, blow the flaming sphere this way.
to? Okay.
Maybe there's that anime light graze on the face.
Yeah, and there's this, big thunderous thing. Calda looks to Alsana with just the most mischievous smirk.
And you see Tokani reduce and return to her usual, for you, humanoid shape.
So runs over and hugs her.
She looks absolutely battered.
Here, dear, let me pat you up, and I'll give her 40 lay on hands.
And there's like, oh, you're a lot. Oh, you hit a lot harder than I remember.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Here you go, and Calda's gonna heal her that 40.
oh, hang on. How did you do that? That twist on a little bit back.
It kind of hurts when some magic kind of comes out of nowhere and knocks you on your ass, huh?
Yeah, no, you shut up. Called it. How did you do that?
It's like,
Very carefully, actually.
did you know we're secretly Kieran's?
No, you shut up. Calda, show me the move, please. And-
Alrighty, get your stance ready.
Yep. She pulls out her greatsword, gets her stance ready. She's good, but you picked up a few tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
as an impromptu lesson,
Could we do it in 15 minutes?
You brought
you
the
know,
paladin.
Yeah,
No.
and the thing is, this is only just half the party too.
yeah, I forget that Calda crits. And
Oh,
crits
yes.
like a runaway train.
I can't get natural ones most of the time, and I can use my bonus action to get advantage on everything.
That's You're
Halflings are
effective.
great.
Yeah.
As they're doing their little
It's
training,
reaching.
Alsana is basically running around them, tapping the little cotton balls to their wounds and stuff, patching them up.
All right. So, with that, you guys finish up the impromptu training. Tokani seems happier, despite losing. Or maybe because of it. But you guys and Elaris are given rooms for the night. Simple, Spartan,
Yep.
but places to sleep. Kane is sleeping off a interesting drinking session with an old friend. in his hut in the swamp.
Can Alsana ask Tokuni for a sleepover? It's okay if she says no.
Yeah, Tokeni says no.
Alright.
Not this time.
Come on.
Actually, you know what? Go ahead and roll persuasion.
Hmm.
Her inclination is no, but you might be able to change it.
She's gonna guidance herself.
Go for it.
Hot. 19.
Ah.
Yeah, just enough. You persuade her begrudgingly. And you get a dragon sleepover. Calda's in the room as well, and
Mhm.
you drag in another cot, and
She will convince her by saying basically they can stay up while Alsana goes and finds a book on the smite spells.
oh god. Investigation roll, please.
Alright.
Guidance
Advantage.
again.
If she's scanning libraries for books
Mhm.
with the classes.
Mhm.
Investigation. 23.
Dear God. Somehow, against all odds, you find a book about paladin powers and magic. A class that does not really use books for their magic or
Holy
spells.
book. Holy book she translates.
I don't read that well, honestly.
Somehow, you manage to find one. It's not so much a book written from the point of view of a paladin, but a book almost written from a scholarly point of view about paladin spells, but they seem to be hitting on a lot of key points. Like, this was not just some scholar sitting in a room and waxing eloquent about something he didn't know. It was probably somebody who lived with one and interviewed several. So, dear God, you start to not
Teach
really
the dragon how to smite.
you don't start teaching the dragon how to smite. The dragon doesn't know how to smite just from hearing about it in a book, but you probably pique the dragon's interest in smiting.
Mm. Have you
My God.
considered maybe, let's say if you were to be a guardian, you could take an oath to do it, and I mean sometimes people get a little magic for their
Yeah.
oaths.
You don't have to be like religious or, beholden to a god for that, or end
No,
conversation.
not
Just-
really. Not really. Just got married and then really loved my family. I don't know if any
Okay.
god's really involved with that. There could be one, but I don't know their name.
All right. Well, that's interesting.
I don't think marriage is completely necessary.
Yeah, I
No.
hope not.
It's just like,
Oh, what? You don't think there's a dragon out there for you?
There's an immediate pillow to your face.
son, are you gonna really keep dragging on about this?
I will leave this room. And as the night continues, you guys can get your rests as we enter the 4th day of Stormswell, Marin Day. And that's gonna be where we leave it off for this session.
Perfect.
Cool.
You can't convince me Tokuni doesn't have snowflake pattern pajamas.
He shows you though.
I hadn't considered it, but you know what? Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and end it there.
Okay. Until next time.
Yep.
Until next
Till
time.
then.
See ya.